traveling through a brand new mine system and finding never before seen treasures, catching new legendary fish and growing brand new crops, exploring the backstories of the villagers and watching a man dance in the forest from a distance. I truly did it all on my journey to achieve 100% completion in the Sunberry Village mod. So, sit back, relax and enjoy over 1000 days of tomfoolery, shenanigans and emotional conversations. Very emotional conversations. Two small things before we get started. I hesitated to put 1000 plus days in the title of this video. Technically, yes, I did play over 1000 days, but a solid 900 of them are spent just waiting for something to happen. I got very unlucky with that something. I'm also using a few other mods alongside the Sunberry Village mod. I will have the links to all of these mods in the description along with a note about what each one does, just in case you want to download them and use them yourself. If I use mods that end up making the game easier, I like to mention that in the intro of the video, and that is exactly what happened here. These mods make the game a lot less of a grind, especially in the early stages, from spring to about fall of year 1. So if that is something you're interested in, by all means feel free to check them out. Day 1 begins as it does in almost every playthrough I've done. Open the box, go outside, chop down trees, make a chest, deposit everything except my pickaxe into that chest. Here is where I deviate from the typical day 1 activities. I enter the cave on the farm and ooh, what's this? This, right here, is the Legacy Cave mod. It takes the humble cave and it transforms it into a palace, the likes of which I have never seen before. I climb a ladder to enter the second floor. Yeah, that's right, there's 2 floors here. This looks very familiar. I'm getting greenhouse vibes from this area. Then I enter floor 3. Yeah, there's 3 floors here, not just 2. Copper ore, stone, and a muscle node of all things are found here. As much as I would like to collect all of this stuff, I cannot, because I am exhausted. Right as I was about to leave the cave, I saw something rather interesting. A stairway leading down into the water. Both my heart and my head tell me to go down this staircase, so I do. And I'm glad I did because my energy begins to regenerate as soon as I enter the water. With a rejuvenated spirit, I return to floor 3 and break all of the rocks. Just when I think things can't possibly get any better here, I open the chesty westy on the first floor. It contains the Neptune's glaive. I leave the cave and I use the Chest Anywhere mod to quickly deposit my new items into a chest. I dig up an artifact spot at the bus stop and receive the prehistoric vertebrae. I donate this artifact to the museum, securing a tasty 250 gold. I head south of the museum where I participate in a mini foraging run before entering Sunberry Village. The first person I speak to is named Elias.
Hello, I am Elias.
I introduce myself to Ezra and Iman. As with every expansion mod, I'm going to mispronounce a lot of names, so apologies in advance for this. I enter a clothing shop, but it looks like I've arrived too late to buy anything, so I guess I'll have to come back here some other time. I'm not entirely sure what this next building is. There is a welcome sign on the front of it, but it looks like an ordinary house on the inside. I have found a minecart, lovely. I'm assuming this means I'll be able to use the minecart to get to this village when I complete the boiler room in the community center. I tried to go further left, but I cannot. I'm assuming that either I unlock that area further in the game, or I don't know, maybe it'll be introduced in a further update. We'll see what happens with this. I find a twilight feather. It's used as a currency during the village's Twilight Festival, whatever that may be. I cannot enter this house, or this one. Right, okay, I think I see what's going on here. I hope you enjoyed the first day of this journey because I'm doing it all over again. It turns out those houses I couldn't enter, they belong to villagers who have to be downloaded separately. So I've gone and downloaded every one of them. Well, almost every one of them. I didn't get Rose and the Alchemist. My computer did not agree with one of the mods I had to install alongside it. It just wouldn't launch the game, so I guess I have to go without Rose and the Alchemist. For now at least. I'll try to get it working before the end of the first 100 days if I can. As tempting as it was to just finish day 1 and then add all of the villagers before starting day 2, I did not. I don't have a reason. Yeah, in fact, now that I think about it, that would have been the smarter thing to do. I do have an opportunity to turn that blunder into a victory, however. I can be more efficient with how I use the water in the cave, now knowing that it replenishes my energy. I grab an orange and the Neptune's glaive on the first floor and make a beeline for the third floor. Wasting no time whatsoever, I demolish every rock in this room, crazy style. I end up getting 31 copper ore this time, along with some coal and a geode. 2 morels and a cherry are also added to my inventory. I relax in the water before reading a letter that I missed on the original day 1. Diala and Durya have invited me to their cafe in Sunberry Village. But it's not just any cafe, no, it's a cat cafe. I've been inside one of these cafes in real life. 10 out of 10 experience, highly recommended. Even after stopping to dig up the prehistoric vertebrae, I've entered the town centre quite a bit earlier than I did yesterday. Well, not yesterday, but like on the other day 1, you know what I mean. I used this time in the best way possible, by saying hello to the trash cans. I enter the museum, donate the artifact, and receive my beloved 250 gold. I head south where I head right instead of left. I don't find anything over here, but I did find a tree stump over in this area. I need a copper axe, I think, in order to break this little tree stump. I'll have to keep this in mind and come back here in the future. I enter the very first house and I introduce myself to Silas. I'm already liking the attitude of these villagers. They really do seem to be a lot more welcoming than those in Pelican Town. I head south and speak to Ari. He seems to be the Pierre of Sunberry Village, hopefully without any of the negative qualities of Mr. Pierre the Platypus. It's 6 PM, which means I can't buy anything here, but I am going to come back tomorrow. I want to see if the seeds being sold here are cheaper than in Pierre's shop. I enter the nicest looking house I've ever seen in Stardew Valley. I want this house. Unironically, give me this house right now. Apparently, I'm not good enough friends with John Yuk to even say hello to him, so I talk to Balake and Lien instead. Again, they welcome me with open arms. I find a house with a for sale sign outside. I was feeling a bit nosy and I read a letter that was addressed to Elias. I'm going to read this one word for word. To my dearest Elias. I could never get the courage to say this to you face to face, and I hope you can forgive me for that someday. I'm sorry for everything your mother and I put you through. You deserved parents who were emotionally present. You deserved better. I'm not sure how much time I have left. Take care of Ari and Blake, and take care of yourself first and foremost. I love you. From Levi. I am already incredibly invested in this story. I need to know more. For now, I think it is time to finally truly wrap up day 1. I speak with the villagers in the saloon and I plant and water all of my seeds. And that concludes the longest day 1 I have ever done in a video. Clinton is here on day 2. He gives me the crafting recipe for the furnace. I waste no time in making one and another chest. I plop the chest down beside the furnace so I can begin smelting copper bars immediately. More rocks have appeared inside the cave. I get the feeling these are going to respawn every day. I am going to take full advantage of that. No matter what, I will collect every single thing inside here every single day. At least during spring, maybe not afterwards. That might be too much of a commitment with everything that's going on. After watering my crappie whoppies, I toss a few bits and bobs into the shipping bin. I bump into Ripley outside the shop. She just moved into her granddad's old farmhouse in Sunberry Village. That sounds familiar. Very familiar. Well, I wish you all the best in your endeavors, Ripley. I have the Help Wanted mod installed, so a minimum of 4 or 5 jobs should appear on the bounty board every day. I like to use this mod as it gives me something to work towards on an almost daily basis. I spot John Yuk walking past the saloon, so I say hello to him. Demetrius wants me to catch 3 sunfish, so after grabbing the rod from William at the beach, I dig up an artifact spot and receive a piece of stone. Lovely. Then I get to work on catching the fish. I catch 1, 2, and 3 of them. Nice and handy. The Chest Anywhere mod isn't just making things more convenient. No, the way it helps me manage my inventory legitimately makes my soul feel happy. I don't know why I feel such relief and joy when I use this mod, I just do. It's such a good mod. I give a cherry to Ari as he requested and take a look at a shop. I am happy to announce that I will not be needing the services of one Mr. Pierre from this point forward. I can get the exact same crops in this shop for an even cheaper price. I treat myself to 22 potato seeds and I explore more of Sunberry Village. Whoever owns this house seems to enjoy canoeing. Or is it kayaking? I forget what the difference is. I found a lovely farm in the southwest of the village. The farmhouse itself it feels and looks warm, if you get what I mean, but like a good type of warm, the inviting, welcoming kind of warm. The type of warm that reminds you of sitting in front of the TV as a kid, watching cartoons and eating a bowl of cereal at like 7 in the morning before anyone else has even thought of getting out of bed. That kind of warm. I say hello to Jumana and Mi Young. By the way, please do let me know if I'm mispronouncing these names. I've been looking up how to pronounce them, but if any of them are incorrect, then by all means, please do correct me on it. I enter the cat cafe and watch a funny little cutscene. Daria is eating cookies and is holding even more cookies in her hand. Diala tells me that she and Daria own this cafe. Well, it's more like Diala does all of the work while Daria just eats the cookies. Daria then has the fantastic idea to give me one of the cookies. I feel like Jordan Peele in the Airplane Continental sketch. Don't mind if I do. I gallivant around the cafe, interacting with the kittens and saying hello to Dao. Blake and Lien are here too. I find out that they're friends with Sebastian and Abigail. That's cool. I like that they've meshed the villagers of Sunbury and Pelican Town together like that. Drinks and treats are being sold here. Triple shot espressos are of significant interest to me, but they cost 900 gold, which is a bit out of my budget at the moment. Ophelia runs the Serenity Inn. She tells me that a farmhouse is up for sale here in Sunberry Village. Let's go have a look, shall we? First and foremost, I love the way they showed the farm. With the camera panning all around the place to show the entire area. I don't think I've seen that before, not in the context of showing off a farm or an area in general, so that's a nice touch. Unfortunately, the farmhouse will cost a whopping 150,000 gold. I won't be getting that anytime soon, but I suppose I have a goal to work towards before these next 110 days are over. Clinton wants me to collect 20 pieces of copper ore and 25 pieces of copper ore. That wasn't a verbal typo, by the way. If I collect 25 of them, then I should complete both jobs. Also, I'm sorry for how long day 1 and day 2 have been. I hope I didn't give you too much information about Sunberry Village and the cave on the farm. The days should be at least a bit shorter from this point forward. I gather enough stone to complete Robin's job and plant and water my potato seeds. To finish off the day, I relax in the cave before chopping down a few trees. I was able to level up my foraging skill right before I passed out, and I earned 1,700 gold. Day 3 begins in a way that I'm sure will become a very, very regular thing. Right, let's address the elephant in the room. This cave is overpowered. I'll speak more on that later, but believe me when I say I am well aware of how this and the Chess Anywhere mod make the game easier. Anyway, I break all of the rocks inside the cave, securing copper ore, geodes, mussels, and coal. I've also completed both of Clinton's jobs to collect copper ore. I find a common mushroom, a pomegranate, and a dandelion before heading up to Robin's house. I speak with both Demetrius and Robin to finish off a job they each gave me, earning a prize ticket in the process. 2 people want a parsnip. That would have been an easy 2 jobs, except my parsnips won't be ready until day 5. And the jobs expire at the end of day 4. So close, and yet so far from a very easy payday. I go dumpster diving and trade my ticket for 12 carrots. That's decent, yeah, I'm happy with that, especially on day 3. I turn in both of the copper ore jobs to Clinton, ask him to upgrade my pickaxe, go frolicking through the village of Sunbury and find a twilight feather. I'm gonna hold on to every single one of these that I find. I'm excited to see what we can trade these for at the Twilight Festival, I think it was called. Would you believe me if I told you the clothing shop is selling clothes? I know, difficult to believe. I'm really liking all of the buildings here. You know what, scratch that. I'm liking the entire village and all of the people in it too. Especially the cat cafe. This place is just wonderful. I find another twilight feather, buy 10 potato seeds, and spend some time fishing up in the mountain area. I return home with plenty of time to plant the potatoes and carrots I got today. Day 4 begins with the watering of crops. I have a feeling this is only going to get worse. As in, I'm gonna end up with a field of 300, maybe even 400 crops by like day 20. I'm going to be miserable because of it. I recover my energy and find a spice berry. Unfortunately, I have to put a bit of a pause on collecting the rocks inside here. Clinton has my pickaxe, but I have technology. I use cherry bombs to collect the copper ore, and I find an omni geo too. I chop down trees, relax for a while, and chop down even more trees. I've got enough tree saplings to make 7 field snacks. These should be useful when it comes to the mines tomorrow. Pamela wants a parsnip, Shane wants a cherry, and Clinton wants me to find 5 pieces of coal. I think I'm going to dial back how much I speak about these jobs. I'll talk about me turning them in, but I don't think there's any need to talk about me accepting them from this point forward. I used some of the wood I gathered this morning to repair the broken bridge at the beach. I now have access to the tide pool area. I dig up 2 artifact spots, both of which give me an artifact. There is a path of sorts leading to the southernmost area of Sunberry Village. I don't think I've been here before. I saw on the calendar that Iman's birthday is today, so yeah, here, have an orange. Oh, I think she liked it. Alright, cool. That worked out. I go from the south of the map all the way up to the north. I enter a cave where I find Ophelia. I tell her I want to explore the mines here, but she does not allow me to. I need to speak with Marlin, get a sword, which I already have by the way, and gain some combat experience. So what I'm hearing is I'll be able to enter the mines here tomorrow. Brilliant. As for the rest of this area, there's a few houses. I think at least one of them might be a shop. I'm basing that entirely on the fact that the game says open from a certain time until a certain time. I could be wrong and they might just be houses. We'll find out soon, I'm sure. Day 5 begins in the best way possible as I adopt a cat. I call it Mr. Iguana. Clinton has sent my copper pickaxe in the mail, thank you. I harvest the parsnips that have grown, water my other crops, and send a parsnip to Pamela. I wonder if iron ore will spawn inside here when I hit a certain level in mining. I know the hilltop farm, there's an area like this on that farm, and iron ore spawns there at level 4 in mining. So I'm curious as to whether it'll be the same story here. I find a pomegranate, a common mushroom, and a moral. Also, if my energy is low in one clip, and then it's back to full in the next clip, you can assume I just went into the water in the cave. I don't think I need to show me relaxing inside there anymore. I meet Lewis outside the community center. Lewis, I get it, alright, you're upset about the community center being in the condition it's in, and you know, it's awfully tragic, but you're not going to do anything about it at the same time, yada yada yada. Look, I'm a busy bee. I have a lot of things to do. I'm going to fix the community center. Don't you worry about that, Lewis. But I do not have time for your tomfoolery right now. It would behoove you to not speak to me anymore. I've said this before, but sometimes I feel like I'm a bit too harsh towards Lewis, but you know, then I remember how he treats Marnie, and I'm like, no, he deserves it. I trade a ticket for a peach sapling. I really should plant this, but I'm going to end up selling it. That's just the way I am as a human being. I wasn't expecting to find a twilight feather outside of Sunberry Village, but I did, so there you go. I'm still not allowed to enter the Sunberry mines. Yeah, that's right, I didn't talk to Marlin, I forgot to do that. I quickly look at the golden scroll in the community center before skedaddling up to the mountains. I introduce myself to Marlin, acquiring the rusty sword in the process. Then I return to the Sunberry mines where I am told once again that I shall not pass. Clearly, the game wants me to spend a little bit of time in the Pelican Town mines first. So I do. The Neptune's glaive makes quick work of the enemies inside here. And I have a copper pickaxe on top of that. I reach level 5, then level 10, followed by level 15. Moments before the day comes to an end, I get lucky and find an ancient seed artifact. Because I've obtained 2 prize tickets, I can now find mystery boxes. I harvest carrots on the morning of day 6. These are really good for health and energy. I wish there was a way to, you know, get them more reliably. Like, I wish you could buy them in the shop, but I can also see why you can't do that considering how much energy they give you. After breaking open the rocks in the cave, I visit the wizard. He teaches me the language of magical creatures called Junimos. I can now begin donating items to the community center. Speaking of Junimos, I run into one named Moon near the museum. They run away as soon as I get close though, so that was kinda sad. I speak with all of the villagers in this area. I complete a job for Clinton and donate several items to the museum. I receive an ancient seed and cauliflower seeds as a reward. I can finally enter the mines in Sunberry Village. For now, I feel like I'm safe. The copper pickaxe and the Neptune's glaive should get me pretty far inside here. I defeat all of the enemies on the first floor and I get copper and iron ore, a mystery box, and a new type of geode. Despite having the chest anywhere mod installed, I do need to buy a backpack upgrade. My inventory is filling up way too quickly right now. Floor 2 is similar to the first floor. I defeat the slimes, collect twilight feathers, the new geode, and an emerald. It looks like the ladder down to the next floor spawns in automatically. You don't have to break rocks to find it like you do in the Pelican Town mines. It's more so a case of having to get to the ladder without being knocked out. That's where the difficulty comes in. Floor number 4 is where things get interesting. I'm not in too much danger of being knocked out, but there are mushroom monsters here that take a lot of hits and deal a lot of damage. I find mushrooms, gems, and serpentine. No idea what this is, but I will hold onto it just in case. I find a sunset orb. This looks like another new type of geode. I find a note on floor 5. Somebody named Maya has cleared out a tunnel. Have I met her yet? I don't think I have. I can rest inside the tunnel. I go inside it and yeah, the note was correct. It's almost 2 in the morning, so I fall asleep inside the tent. I hit level 5 in mining, so I choose the miner perk. My mining escapades resume on day 7. Enemies that look like the dust sprite monster have spawned in abundance. They don't do too much damage, so they're not really a threat. Floor 7 is where things take a turn for the worst, however. I'm doing like 1 single damage to these enemies. I'm gonna have to get a better sword if I want to go any further. I'm accepting that right now. I decide to be sneaky and just run past them, taking on the other new monster instead. It drops solar essence, which I need for the community center. Yoink, I will take that. Floor number 8 is a spiral floor. As if that wasn't bad enough, the really tough enemy spawns in once again. I'm not ashamed to admit that I ran like the wind as soon as I saw it. So, you know, when it comes to this new mine system, overall, I'm really liking it so far. I feel like it's going to be quite a while before I can come back in here, which is a shame because it's fun going through the place. But I don't have the right weapon for it at this point in time. I donate some items to the museum and I ask Clinton to crack open a mystery box. I get a crab cake. Up next is the midnight orb. I get 5 oak resin. Wow, I did not see that coming, but I will take those, thank you. The sunrise orbs give me life elixirs, bug meat, and farm warp totems. Pretty good stuff. Finally, the Sunberry geodes give me stone, copper ore, coal, and more stone. Not exactly pretty good stuff. I take a walk through the forest. I was hoping to find spring forage, but I only ended up getting spring onions. I harvest a piece of kale and a carrot, plant my ancient and cauliflower seeds, and sell a few items. It is Lewis's birthday, so I give him a parsnip. As soon as I left the saloon, I went to use the farm warp totem. Leah was standing in front of me and I accidentally gave it to her. Yeah, that wasn't good. What makes it even worse though is that she was not grateful at all for this gift. Well, alright, give it back to me then if you don't want it. I'll happily take it and use it. I didn't even mean to give it to you. Come on, give me back give it back. I send my axe to Clinton, find a wild plum and an apricot in the cave, and check out the top floor. I find a peach and iron ore has made an appearance, along with a diamond and an amethyst. Pamela wants a coffee. I buy one for 300 gold, then I turn around and just give it to her. She gives me 450 gold for doing so. I'm not even going to question that one. I'm just going to walk away now. I send a diamond to Emily and I receive a tasty 2,250 gold along with a ticket. I earn a further 4,000 gold from the items I shipped. I have been sent pancakes on the morning of day 8, and Mother has sent me cookies too. Going from good to great, potatoes and parsnips are ready for harvest as well. I've realized that quite a few forage items that have spawned inside this cave are needed for the community center. I'm half tempted to not allow myself to donate these, but I really don't think it's going to make too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. All I'm doing is just getting some items earlier than usual. I won't finish the community center earlier because of it, so I think I'm going to allow myself to donate these items. I buy the backpack upgrade and head into the community center. I donate a moral, an oak resin, a red and purple mushroom, and a cave carrot to complete the exotic foraging bundle. I donate a common mushroom, a wild plum, stone, wood, and all 4 spring foraging items. Another 3 rooms inside here have been unlocked. A parsnip, a potato, a peach, and an apricot have been donated to the pantry bundles. Oh, and a pomegranate. I almost forgot about that one. I donate a bullhead, a carp, an oyster, a clam, a mussel, and a crab to the fishing bundles. Finally, I donate a copper and iron bar, a solar essence, a quartz, and an earth crystal to the boiler room. Over in Sunberry Village, I check out the houses I saw outside the mines. One of them is locked. Only some sort of trash gremlin would consider breaking in and squatting, apparently. Is there another NPC I have to download? I didn't see any other ones. Or maybe I unlock them later on? Who knows. I speak with Ren and enter what seems to be the blacksmith. It's very tempting to buy a gold bar, but I'm going to save my money. Maya is selling weapons. Oh, this is the person who wrote the note in the mines about the tunnel. Alright, cool. The Yeti Tooth is a good weapon, though by the time I have enough money to afford it, I imagine I'll have already gotten the obsidian edge sword from the chest on floor 90 in the Pelican Town mines. This house looks abandoned. Maybe it was a saloon. It looks similar to the one Gustavo owns in Pelican Town anyway. I buy a cauliflower seed, a green bean, 2 deluxe speed grow, and 105 potato seeds. I send a pomegranate to Marnie and plant all of my croppy whoppies. The copper axe has been acquired on day 9, and Lewis has sent me 500 gold. Before I do anything else, I water all of my crops. I think now is the right time to talk about the cave. I said earlier that it's overpowered, so I can definitely see why some people at least, might not want to use this mod. For me, it's doing something that I've been wanting for the last few months, maybe even a year. I've got, just a few hours in this game. And I guess I'm just at the point where the first, 2, maybe 3 weeks can be a bit daunting every time I start a new farm. During that period of time, I almost always find myself thinking something along the lines of, alright, if I water all of my seeds today, then I can't go to the mines, but I have to water them, so I guess I'm not going to the mines, or fishing, or chopping down trees. The cave fixes that for me entirely, and I gotta say, it has been so refreshing to be able to water all of my crops, and then chop down trees, and then go to the mines. I love being able to do all of these different things and be busy the entire day without worrying about my energy too much. And being able to have like a quarry area on any farm, not just a hilltop farm, but any farm, makes for a fresh experience too. Long story short, I can absolutely see why people wouldn't want to use this mod. But it's allowing me to do so many things every single day, so I love it. If you happen to be one of those people who wouldn't use this mod, then I hope you can still, enjoy this video regardless of me using it in this playthrough. Alright, let's get back to the gameplay now. I trade a ticket for 10 seeds and chop down the tree stump I found on day 1. It was blocking the entrance to this place. It looks like the secret woods, albeit, a bit more peaceful because there's no slimes trying to attack you or anything inside here. It's the type of place I would love to have a picnic in. I think that's the best way to describe it. I donate an orange, then I finish off the construction bundle. A sweet pea, a purple mushroom, a chub, a frozen geode, an aquamarine, and a sea urchin are also donated. Day 10 is a rainy day, and I can still appreciate this weather. Even though I can regenerate my energy in the cave, it's nice not having to water my crops at all. I make 3 more furnaces and I do a bit of fishing. I catch a catfish and a shad, both of which are donated. I still have to get an eel today though, that fish only shows up when it's raining. In the meantime, I decide to make some progress in the mines. I'm finding a lot of bugs, which is good. If I can defeat 80 of them, I'll get the insect head weapon. I make it down to floor 20, then I take a break to let Demetrius know I caught a catfish. Job completed. I turn in another job by talking to Lewis. He wanted me to defeat 4 slimes. He gives me a ticket which I trade in for mystery boxes. Finally, I catch an eel and bring it to the community center. Day 11 is another rainy day. I gotta say, I find it ironic how the game waits until I have a way of regenerating my energy to be like, hey, here's 2 rainy days in a row, so you can save your energy by not having to water your crops. You're welcome. I find the 3rd and final piece of summer forage in a cave, so it's off to the center. I donate a green bean and complete the summer foraging bundle in its entirety. The 6th and final room inside here has been unlocked. Ren and Robin are having a conversation. It seems to me like Ren knows who Robin is. Robin catches on pretty quickly when Ren calls her Little Bird. Ren wanted to give Robin a heads up that she's moved to Sunberry Village. Wait, Ren and Robin, I get it. Birds. Yeah, that's clever, I like that one. Ren is a plumber, and she has offered her services to Robin to kind of save Robin the hassle of having to hire someone who lives further away, in a place like Grampleton or Zuzu City, which is very kind of her to do. I ask Robin to add a coop to the farm, then I return to the mines for the remainder of the day. I defeat bug number 80 on floor 24, so after going down to floor 25, I decide to leave the mines and retrieve my insect head from Gil. I spend the night swapping back and forth between the Neptune's glaive and the insect head. Before the 1.6 update, the Neptune's Glaive was my favourite weapon in the game. Then when the 1.6 update was released, the Insect Head became my favourite weapon, so this is like a best of both worlds type of situation right here. I make it all the way down to floor 40 and I managed to find a glow ring on floor 41. I find a diamond in the cave on day 12. I think from this point forward I'm only going to mention the cave if new ores appear or if I get a prismatic shard or something valuable like that. If I can even get a prismatic shard inside here, that is. I don't know if I can. I'm trying to dial back on the filler stuff. So things like this, accepting jobs, regenerating energy, that kind of thing. Once again I spend the day in the mines. I make it down to floor 50, then I remember I didn't water my crops this morning. I skedaddle all the way back to the farm where I don't get all of them watered in time. Not my proudest moment. I've learned my lesson and begin day 13 by watering all of my croppy whoppies. Okay, no, I haven't learned my lesson. I do this in every single playthrough. I decide not to water my crops in the morning and then either completely forget about them or only get half of them watered. Then I say I've learned my lesson and it won't happen again. But it does, it happens every single time and it's going to happen again and I'm okay with that. I find a cherry in the cave while refilling my watering can. Nice. The Egg Festival takes place today. I speak with every single villager I come across, which is quite a few as you can imagine. Some of the characters from Sunberry Village are talking to the Pelican Town villagers, and quite a few of them are over in this area where they're having a lovely feast. The main event of the day begins. The egg hunt. A teeny tiny part of me wonders if I should maybe let somebody else win. No, I don't think I will. What I will do, however, is make sure William wins the fishing contest that takes place in winter. For now, I bask in the glory of my victory. I receive the straw hat for winning. A bone node has spawned in the cave. Muscle nodes and bone nodes, two things from Ginger Island. Interesting. Day 14 is off to a wonderful start as potatoes are ready for harvest. After picking them all up, I find myself in a very familiar location. The mines. I reach floor 60, sell potatoes and parsnips, and buy 135 kale seeds from Ari. I spend the remainder of the day planting and watering all of my kale. Demetrius is here on the morning of day 15. I can either have mushrooms or fruit spawn inside the cave on the farm. I mean, I've already seen a bunch of fruit inside there, so yeah, let's go with the mushrooms and see what happens. After harvesting potatoes and spring forage, I can indeed confirm that mushrooms are now growing inside this cave too. I am really getting the best of both worlds here as I find a blackberry and a cherry upstairs. I would really like to get down to level 80 in the mines today. Actually, no, level 90. I feel like I can get to level 90 and I'll get the obsidian edge sword down there too, so that has to happen today. After making it down to floor 70, I battle the skeletons that spawn on every floor. The good news is one of them dropped the bone sword. The bad news is I wasn't recording the moment it happened, so goodbye bone sword. As much as I want to use this sword, and I really do want to use it, believe me, it wasn't recorded, so it just isn't canon. I don't find another bone sword, but that's okay. I use the insect head to the fullest extent of its capabilities, propelling myself all the way down to floor 80. I've got enough gold ore to make a gold bar, so I toss it into a chest, using the Chest Anywhere mod of course. I cannot even begin to describe how much I adore this mod, it is so good. Now all I need is a fire quartz, which I find on floor 84. I wasn't able to reach floor 90, but I did make it down to floor 85. Gold ore has spawned inside the cave on day 16. After collecting everything inside here, I donate the following items to the community center. A crystal fruit, a blackberry, a cherry, a gold bar, a void essence, a fire quartz, and a frozen tear. The boiler room has been completed, so the minecart system will be repaired tonight. I sell a bunch of things to Clinton and ask him to upgrade my pickaxe. Following that, I buy 150 parsnip seeds and plant every single one of them. With a heavy heart, I begin to water all of my crops on day 17. Now, I wish I could say I did this with no problems whatsoever, but I can't. I dilly-dallied. I lollygagged. But most of all, any and all motivation I had to water my crops in a timely manner evaporated when yesterday came to an end. I don't walk into the cave, no, I stumble into that place, hoping to replenish my now continuously depleting happiness by breaking the rocks inside here, only to discover that I do not have my pickaxe. Clinton has my pickaxe. I crawl into bed, miserable. The knot I felt in my stomach felt not unlike the feeling one gets after eating an entire box of fiber bars and washing it all down with a massive Taco Bell feast. I was not doing well, to say the least. I get my pickaxe back on day 18. That is but a small victory in an ocean of defeat. I find an apple inside the cave. Alright, okay, this is good. I have to donate that, so I'm feeling a little better. That being said, I once again do not do anything else after watering all of my seeds. The same thing happens on days 19, 20, and 21. As if the universe itself was trying to cheer me up, a miracle happens in the farm cave on day 21. I break open this rock, I think it's called a mystic rock, and it drops a prismatic shard. I was so over the moon happy about this that even the thought of watering my crops did not faze me. I was so happy, in fact, that it took me a moment to realize I was watering my crops in the rain. Let's just move on from that. My hard work during the previous few days has paid off as I harvest over 100 parsnips on day 22, along with a few cauliflowers. I use the newly repaired minecart to get to Sunberry Village. From here I can go straight to the mountains and the forest inside this area. Lovely stuff. I sell a few things and stuff to Clinton and a few bits and bobs to Pierre. Then I immediately spend 10,000 gold by asking Clinton to upgrade my pickaxe. I chop down many a tree before asking Robin to build a barn on the farm. A cauliflower, 5 gold star parsnips, an apple and a winter root have also been donated to the community centre. It is my pleasure to announce that the spring crops and the artisan bundles are now done and dusted. I spend the remainder of the day watering my kale. I hit level 6 in farming, so the crafting recipe for quality sprinklers has just been unlocked. I need those desperately right now. Give them me. Over 100 pieces of kale have been harvested on day 23, leaving me with only a handful of crops still growing on the farm. Now this is a new one. This rock right here, it contains magma shards, another Ginger Island item. I'm already excited to get my pickaxe back and break open all of these rocks. After selling my kale, I donate a few items to the museum. I spend a bit of time going back and forth between Clinton and Gunther, cracking open geodes and donating everything I can. I end up unlocking the achievement for donating 40 items during this. I catch a sardine, a herring and a flounder at the beach, followed by a largemouth bass up in the mountains, and a bream at the river. I caught other fish too, of course, but these are the ones I haven't gotten until now. The final stage of today's fishing takes me to the picnic area outside of Sunberry Village. I'm using the Look Up Anything mod, which tells me what fish can be caught in any area, so that's very handy indeed, as you can imagine. It lets me know that I can catch the barkfish here, so I do. Clinton has sent me the golden pickaxe on day 24, and Elias has sent me a letter too. He tells me that if I catch any fish in Sunberry Village, I can show the fish to him and he'll write a few notes about it. I find an apple in the cave. Lovely, give me 2 more of these, please. Using my golden pickaxe this morning felt therapeutic. That's the best way I can describe it. It is so incredibly satisfying breaking open all of the rocks inside here. The flower festival takes place today, so I attend that one. I buy the Tub of Flowers crafting recipe and a rare crow. And that is everything I did today. 2 more mystic stones have appeared in the cave on day 25. I do not get a prismatic shard, but it's good to know that they spawn in rather frequently in this cave. I make it to floor 90 in the mines where I finally get my hands on the obsidian edge sword. I continue onwards, reaching floor 95, then floor 100 where I find my very first star drop. I find a pair of boots in a chest on floor 110 and make it all the way down to the very bottom of the mines just before the day comes to an end. Coffee beans have been harvested for the first time on the morning of day 26. I'm definitely going to plant these during summer. I would very much like to have a reliable source of coffee sooner rather than later. I've made a few furnaces, so all of that lovely ore I've collected will be smelted even quicker now. I head over to Sunberry Village where the very first thing I do is show the barkfish to Elias. More fishing is on the agenda now. I begin in the mountains. I catch the, I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry, then the Azurian, I can't pronounce that either, and the bonbon fish. Whoa, 1 of 3, not bad. I maneuver my way to the forest where I catch the sea cow. I use the minecart to get back to the farm and send my axe to Clinton. I wanted to upgrade it to iron quality before summer, so I'm very happy about this. I meet a raccoon who gives me a substone. Thank you very much, Mr. Raccoon. I spend the remainder of the day inside the mines. I get the Monster Compendium book and read it, so I should get more items from the monsters in the caves from now on. The first couple of floors were easy enough to deal with. I wasn't in danger of being knocked out, basically. That was the important thing. I fall asleep in the tent on floor 5. Level 10 in mining has been reached and my chance to find coal has been doubled. I continue making my way through the mines on day 27. The monsters that made me leave this place when I first came inside here are now, well, they're not easy to deal with. But I can do it, which is the main thing. It is possible for me to defeat them now. Unfortunately, I was defeated by a different enemy, a tree stump. Clinton has my axe, I can't use a staircase to jump down to level 9, and the bombs don't work on the stump. This is truly a humbling experience. I was defeated by the most unlikely of enemies. I really can't believe it. I leave, but make no mistake about it, I will be back. I catch the bubbling betta, and that, I believe, is the last fish I can get here in Sunberry Village right now. I catch a goby before returning to the farm. A beautiful sight greets me when I enter the cave. A large chunk of iridium ore has decided to move into this humble abode. In news that is equally as good, I get my second prismatic shard. The remainder of the day is spent collecting quartz. Day 28. The final day of spring has arrived. It begins in the best way possible as I receive my upgraded axe and I find another prismatic shard. I've never played on the hilltop farm before, so if anybody has, is the quarry area on that farm as good as this cave? Because I am blown away by how many rocks show up inside here on a daily basis. I get sunberry seeds from an orb and purpurite. That's new. It says nothing about giving it to Gunther, so I don't really know what to do with it. I send an orange and a cherry to Shane, earning a ticket as I do. I toss many items into the shipping bin, earning almost 20,000 gold as spring comes to an end. Day 29 begins with a letter which contains a cooking recipe. I can now make the wonderful froggy burger. Seeing as we're on the first day of summer, I make what could very well be considered a questionable choice. Instead of buying melons or blueberries, I decide to spend almost all of my money on the Vault Room bundles. I hope this pays off. I send my watering can to Clinton so he can upgrade it and make 49 quality sprinklers. Once I've placed them on the ground, I plant all of the seeds I have. Coffee, mixed, sunberry and flower seeds are all planted. I believe I have reached the highest level in the cave, so to speak. A decent chunk of iridium ore has appeared inside here. I spend the remainder of the day planting different seeds and watering them. I toss a few random bits and bobs into the shipping bin before going to sleep. Ari has sent me sunberry seeds on the morning of day 30. I will happily take more of these, thank you. Radioactive ore has spawned in the cave this morning. That's new. I do not remember getting this inside here before. The chocolate chip cookies being sold in the cat cafe are even better than salads in terms of energy. I wanted to buy at least 20 of them, but I cannot. It looks like I can only buy one per day. The same goes for the triple shot espresso and, well, everything else inside here really can only be bought once a day. I've got a tough choice to make now. What will be the main crop of this season? I'm leaning towards sunberries, but I'm not entirely sure. It could be melons or blueberries too, those are good options. While I ponder this kerfuffle, I trade a prismatic shard for the galaxy sword. After doing a bit of foraging and even more foraging, I buy 25 salads. Then it's off to the mines in Sunberry Village. It goes rather well, I would say. The galaxy sword is quite the upgrade from the obsidian edge. None of the monsters inside here pose too much of a threat right now. I decide to go to sleep inside the tent on floor 10. I get right back into the fray on day 31. Things got more challenging from this point forward, especially when I went up against those big purple monsters. I persevered, however, and had a jolly good time as I participated in the most fun scavenger hunt of all time. Every one of these floors are filled with different gems, but especially floor 14. And floor 15, but I'll get to that one in a moment. Right now I'm finding massive amounts of diamonds, iridium ore, orbs that I can crack open, so many valuables. Then I make it down to floor 15. This, it turns out, is the very last floor inside this mine system. It's pretty similar to floor 14 in terms of how many goodies it contains. One thing I do want to do in the future is change my mining profession. I want to get the perk that gives you a chance to get 2 of any gem you pick up. That would be easy money, I think. I go down one more floor after floor 15, so technically I'm on floor 16, but there's no monsters here. Instead, a crappie whoppie is growing inside this cave. I find Maya and Ophelia and show them the crop. They, just like me, are very puzzled and have no idea what it is. They're going to go and talk to the wizard to find out if he knows anything about this. And once they find out something new, they'll notify me of any, developments in the crappie whoppie situation. Maya, before leaving, tells me to check the water, which tells me there's a new fish in here. She wouldn't say that if there wasn't a new fish. That happened in Stardew Valley Expanded as well, I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to try to catch this fish right now, though. I can't be bothered to, if I'm being honest. I don't have any other reason. I make good use of the Chest Anywhere mod and toss a load of gems into the shipping bin. Mr. Clinty Winty has sent me the copper watering can on day 32, and in even better news, just look at all of the radioactive ore that has spawned inside this cave. I crack open some orbs. I mainly get artifacts to begin with. Then I get 5 dinosaur eggs, followed by 2 battery packs. Alright, now we're talking. Things go downhill from there as I get a couple of dishes, clay, copper ore, yada yada yada. Still good stuff, but not as good as the things I was getting. With all of my orbs opened up, I whip out the geodes and mystery boxes. I make a few donations to the museum and ask Marnie to add 4 chickens to the coop. Jimmy, Jay, Roman and Sammy have all joined the family. Next up we have 4 new cows. Their names are Solo, Jacob, Tama and Tonga. I show the fish I've caught to Elias, which should add them to the journal. Yeah, the barkfish is here, so these new ones should be added tomorrow as well. Elias is straight up not having a good time upstairs. The museum up here it's non-existent really. It's empty, so it can't really be called a museum. He wants me to find minerals and bring them to him. I think I already have quite a few of these. I recognize these names. Ooh, yeah, I do. I do have a lot of these. Alright, nice. I drop them off, leaving me with one single mineral left to find. The Moonberry. I buy 143 Sunberries from Ari and... I'm sorry, I'm a little worried about Abigail. She was walking like a woman on a mission right there. Is everything alright, Abigail? Anyway, I move the barn to the right of the coop and let my animals roam the farm freely. I spend the remainder of the day planting sunberries. I've been using my mailbox to send gifts to the villagers. I started this during spring, but I'm really going to ramp it up now. Also, I can do this because of the mail services mod. I'll have the link to that below in the description. I've got a bunch of items that most of the villagers, if not all of them, love, so I want to make sure I'm sending 2 gifts a week to everybody. And sending a birthday present to everybody too when it's their birthday. Speaking of which, 2 villagers have a birthday on day 33, so of course they're each going to get a lovely item. I was trying to have a conversation with me young, but Silas has decided not to let that happen. You're on thin ice, Silas. Be very, very careful what you do next. Silas gives me young a beautiful silver bracelet. Oh wait, no, that's actually really cute. Okay, he gave her a nice bracelet. Never mind, I'm sorry, Silas. I overreacted. This one's on me, my bad. In fact, I should have known that the middle of my sentence would interrupt the beginning of your sentence. This one is entirely on me. I am absolutely loving this new mine system, I have to say. I genuinely cannot get enough of it. And so the rest of the day is spent inside here. Just like last time, I get all the way down to floor 10 and I go to sleep inside the tent. The game notifies me that a green mist has descended upon the valley on day 34. Truthfully, I forgot all about this notification as soon as it went away, so that's going to be a surprise for later. I focus all of my attention on getting down to floor 15, and I did. And it wasn't the most difficult thing to do either. The purple monsters tend to do the most amount of damage, but they also don't have a lot of health, so that's good. On top of that, they tend to drop an orb, so that's an extra incentive to defeat them. I'm getting a hefty amount of Twilight Feathers. I would like to have at least 150 of these when the Twilight Festival happens during fall. The game basically hyped up a festival that takes place in fall during spring. That's a heads up of 2 months. I just know some amazing items will be sold at that festival. I head to Clinty Winty's, but he isn't here because of the aforementioned green mist. That isn't the best timing. I had a lot of plans to do with this place. With a very heavy heart, I spend the remainder of the day gathering hundreds of fibre and moss. Day 35 begins with the planting of the seeds I found yesterday. John Uke has invited me to Sunberry Saturdays. It's basically a massive picnic / barbecue that the whole community goes to. That sounds like fun. I sell 25,000 worth of gems to Clinty Winty and break open the orbs. I get dinosaur eggs, void eggs, a potion, maple syrup. These are light years ahead of the mystery boxes, I gotta say. These are incredible items we're getting here. I check the fish journal and yeah, sure enough, Elias has indeed wrote about the fish I showed him yesterday. I sort of just wander around aimlessly for a while before finally entering the shop. I buy 5 of each seed except for wheat, which I buy 10 of. And sunberries too, of course. I grab 150 of those. You know what? I might as well grab a few more melons too. Alright, I'm happy now. Ren bumps into Duria. Duria for some reason was hiding in the bushes, which, as you can imagine, made Ren very confused. It turns out Diala cut Duria off. Yeah, no more soda for Duria, hence her drinking it here in the bushes where Diala hopefully won't see her. A raccoon has given me a pumpkin. That is not a sentence I ever thought I would say, but you know. I don't remember coming inside this shop. It's a flower shop. Have I been in here before? I don't think I have. This is cool, I like this. Pamela pulls up in the bus. This person gets off the bus and proceeds to run into me. We both fall to the floor, which I was not happy about. Not happy at all. Things get even worse when I realize I've somehow mysteriously lost 1,000 gold. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'm about to drop this person like a bad habit. I find this thief, this hooligan, this absolute ham sandwich in the saloon. I demand he gives me back my money, to which he says, oops, it was a force of habit. Dog, I am like 5 seconds away from making sure you get referred to in the past tense from this point forward. Do not play around here, give me back my money. Long story short, and yeah, I see the irony in me saying that in a video that's already an hour long at this point, but yeah, he can't afford the food he has ordered, so I offered to pay for him. I felt bad. I don't think he's a bad person, he just did a bad thing. There's a difference. The jukebox explodes. What is going on here? The jukebox explodes, so the ham sandwich offers to fix it. And he does. John Uke enters the saloon, which sends Spanner. Oh, his name is Spanner, alright. It sends Spanner into a frenzy. John Uke is his boss, apparently, alright. John Uke wants to talk to me in his house, and I will at some other point. I have reached my socializing quota for the week, so please do not interact with me for at least the next 24 hours. Squash and wheat are ready for harvest on day 36. I mean, that's nice and all, but what I'm really waiting for are the sunberries. I am in dire need of coal, so I make 10 charcoal kilns. Before I use them, there's something else I must do, however. Gather wood, and a lot of wood. So I spend the remainder of the day doing exactly that. I also ask Robin to build a silo on the farm. Summer forage is ready on day 37. The villagers tend to like these items, if not love them, so this is a good way to start the day. I plant more sunberries, and I do not make iridium sprinklers. I'm not level 9 in farming yet, so I don't have the crafting recipe for them. Oops. I speak with all of the Sunberry villagers I encounter. Most of them talk about the bus that's up and running again, so I'm glad they're happy about that. Then I return to the flower shop. Calla lily seeds are being sold along with seeds for the other summer flowers. I assume this means there's new flowers for spring, fall, and winter too, which means I've missed the spring ones. Uh-oh, that's not good. I buy the fiberglass rod and spend some time fishing at the beach. I'm going to try to get the fishing collection completed by the end of winter. I know I missed the legend, but there is a way to get it despite it not being spring anymore. But that will come later, like much, much later, like winter later. Speaking of legendary fish, I believe it is time for me to catch one. It spawns right over here in the tide pool area. This thing was buffed, and at some point last year, maybe when the 1.6 update was released, the Crimson Fish was given superpowers. I know for a fact it was nowhere near as difficult before that update came out. This thing had to have been buffed. There's no way, no, come on, I didn't catch it. That's what I'm trying to say here, I couldn't catch it today. The appearance of a few flowers cheers me up on day 38, and my mood is improved even further when I use a bomb to collect everything in this cave. That wasn't just satisfying. That was cathartic. I crack open some geodes and make a few donations to the museum. Over in the mines I catch a ghost fish, a stonefish, and that's it. Yeah, I wanted to get an ice pip, but it just didn't show up today. Gunther is here on day 39. As I've donated over 60 items, he has given me the key to the sewers. I've been waiting for this moment. I need to get 10,000 gold so I can change my mining perk as soon as possible. But first I must achieve something I failed to do yesterday. I catch the elusive ice pip. And it's gold star quality, beautiful. The luau takes place today, so I can toss this fish into the soup. That should get the best reaction from the governor. I talk to the villagers who have gathered here on the beach, including the ones over here. I'm liking the trend of there being an extra area at festivals for the Sunberry villagers. That's a nice touch. The ice pip I added to the soup does indeed get the best reaction from the governor, which means I earn some tasty friendship points with everybody here. Oh, Ophelia has sent me a letter on day 40. They finally have some information about the crappie wappie I found at the bottom of the mines. I'll pop over to the town centre soon, but I just have to take care of a few things here first. I introduce myself to Krobus, sell 2 prismatic shards, and finally change my mining skill. I will be able to select the double gem perk when I go to sleep tonight. Over in Sunberry Village, the wizard has shown up to speak about the crappie wappie. Silas believes it might be a variant of the Sunberry, so I'm already very interested in it. Elias wonders if it could be connected to, and then trails off. The wizard expands on this a tiny bit. He says he doesn't believe that the crop is connected to Dr. Zara's research. Excuse me, what is that research exactly? And where is Dr. Zara? And who is Dr. Zara? And why is Dr. Zara? Anywhomst, we're all going to meet back here again in about a week to check on the crappie wappie. There is a minecart in the cave here that I can use to get to the very bottom of the Sunberry mines. That is good to know. I go to sleep in the tent on floor 5 and I choose the geologist perk when I go to sleep. Then I choose the gemologist perk. I gallivant around these wonderful caverns on day 41. The gemologist perk increases the value of gems by 30%, so now I've got a 50% chance of getting 2 of any gem I come across, and I'll get even more money for them. I'm getting 2 diamonds, 2 rubies, 2 emeralds, 2 jade almost every single time I break open a rock with these gems in them. I was having the time of my life inside here. I even felt a little disappointed when I realized I was on floor 15. I didn't want it to end. Alas, it did come to an end, but not before I found a moonberry. The name of that item seemed a bit familiar to me, and then I realized it's the final mineral I need for the museum. The one Elias owns, not Gunther's. Most of the items you're seeing on the screen right now, I found them all in the mines today. The 14 diamonds alone are worth just under 14,000 gold. When I leave the mines, Moon can sense that I've got a moonberry. I was planning on giving it to Elias, but Moon wants to show me something. If I put the moonberry into a seed maker, this one right here to be precise, then I'll get moonberry seeds. Can I just say, Moon is the coolest character in this entire mod, scratch that, in the entirety of Stardew Valley. I'm putting them above Apples, and Apples is already a 10 out of 10 character from the Stardew Valley expanded mod. I can't. Moon is on the same level as Apples. I can't in good faith put anyone above Apples, I can't do it. Regardless, Moon is very cool. I earned 41,000 gold from the gems I threw into the shipping bin. Coffee, ancient fruit, squash, peppers, sunberries are all ready for harvest on day 42. I'm only just now realizing how many of these I planted. I've got around 300 sunberries on me by the time I finish collecting them all. Again, just look how satisfying this is. I will never ever get tired of doing that. I get artifact troves, a prismatic shard, iron bars, and even a red cabbage from the orbs I bring to Clinton. After cracking everything open, I donate a couple of items before selling all of my sunberries. With over 80,000 gold at my disposal, I buy a bunch of wood and ask Robin to upgrade the barn on the farm. And I grab the crafting recipe for the big chest. I give my axe to Clinton, upgrade that for me please. Amina has a question for Maya. The question every parent dreads their child asking. And that question is, can Amina dye her hair purple? Maya is worried about permanent dye potentially damaging Amina's hair, but she has an idea. She could use temporary dye instead. I gotta say, hats off to Maya for reacting that way. There are parents out there who, for some reason, think they should be in complete control of their child's hair, so yeah, fair play, Maya. I respect you for this one. I talked to Jumana, the owner of the flower shop. She's got a very pretty flower garden going on here. I'm liking the overall vibes of the place. Amina is having a phenomenal day today. Not only is Maya going to help her dye her hair purple, but Jumana is going to make cheese cauliflower for her. Jumana is Amina's grandmother, FYI BTW. I'm never saying that again, I apologize. I trade a moonberry for 1 moonberry seed. Huh. I thought I was going to get 15 of them, not just one of them. Okay, in that case, would it not be better to throw the moonberry into my own seed maker? That would give me maybe 2 or even 3 moonberry seeds. Anyway, I buy some bait and trout soup and I spend the rest of the day fishing. Sterling has sent me a letter that contains a lot of puns on day 43, specifically puns about bears for some reason. All I know is he included the cooking recipe for bear pancakes. I don't know what else he said in it. I couldn't bear to read it. Do you get it? Let's move on. Amina has sent me flower seeds, much appreciated, thank you. I've made the executive decision to finally plant some crops inside the cave. I've said it before, but I am loving this cave mod. I don't think I can play the game without it anymore. It's officially joined the Automate and Mail Services mods. I donate the following items to the community center: a fiddlehead fern, a maple syrup, a poppy, 3 apples, 10 pieces of wheat, a sunflower, duck feather, red cabbage, sunfish, ghostfish, pufferfish, tilapia, tuna, bream, blueberry, melon, pepper, pumpkin, and a large egg. I spend the rest of the day fishing. I have received the gold axe on day 44, and I've sent my gold pickaxe away to be upgraded too. I chop down a tree stump, giving me access to the secret woods. I find twilight feathers and catch a wood skip. I then catch a pike and buy another fiberglass rod. Yeah, I didn't mean to buy that one. I wanted the iridium rod, so that was a bit of an expensive mistake right there. I catch a sandfish and a scorpion carp and donate several fish. I go after the crimson fish again, and I am happy to announce that I was able to get it this time. That's a relief. Sunberries are ready again on day 45. That was quick. I only harvested them for the first time like 3 days ago. I find a mango in the cave. I find it interesting how you can get Ginger Island stuff inside here. It's not going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things, but it does make the playthrough feel a bit more unique when we're able to get certain items this early. I was having a wonderful conversation with Sterling when I was of course interrupted. These villagers are developing a nasty habit of just barging in on my conversations. I am not liking what I'm seeing here right now. Anyway, Lanny recognizes Sterling. Considering how awkward they get when they both realize who the other person is, I think it's pretty obvious what kind of, shall we say, activity they participated in together in the past. I gotta say, the dialogue and conversation topics of these villagers are not as PG as the vanilla Stardew characters, for the most part anyway. That's not necessarily a complaint, it's just surprising more than anything else. Ari is alone in his shop as Maya was too tired to assist him today, so I help him move a box around. I go to the bottom of the Sunberry mines, cast my rod into the water and catch a brand new fish, a new legendary fish. This one was truly a breath of fresh air after the crimson fish kerfuffle. It wasn't too difficult at all to catch. I find a sort of hidden entrance to the left of the barn. I don't know how to describe what happens next, but I'll do my best. John Yuke is dancing. There might be an official name for this dance, I don't know. The only dance I know is the Fortnite default dance, so I'm not qualified to speak on this. John Yuke tells me that he was dancing along to the new Rise and Fall of a Fernigal Princess album. According to him, this album is goated. Okay. I chop down a log and I'm teleported to another new area. There are flying things here. They look like totems. I defeat them and I receive the aquamarine ring. I catch a Dorado before finding another new area in the southern part of the village. There's a cave hidden behind this waterfall, but I can't do much inside here. At least it doesn't look like I can. Sterling has... how do I put this? In the words of Cody Rhodes, Sterling has had a libation or two. He is not doing well physically, I mean. Emotionally, he seems to be fine. He seems happy, but he also can't walk more than a couple of steps without falling over. John Yuke helps him get back home, which was very sweet of him. I go fishing at the bottom of the Sunberry mines. I am deeply embarrassed of how much I messed this one up. Just look at this. I catch a midnight carp before the day comes to an end. Clinton has sent me the iridium pickaxe on day 46. Lovely, that is the final upgrade for that tool. I find a pineapple in the cave. That is going right into a seed maker. Up next is perhaps the most... I don't know. I don't know what to say about what happens next. I have a lot of feelings about it, and they'll come out during this cutscene, but I'll just talk about what happens first. Lanny is in Pierre's shop. The thing is, she's not here to buy anything. She comes here sometimes to visit Pierre. Apparently he always gives her free stuff and she's made a habit out of bringing him some food. I already don't like this cutscene. Lanny says she thinks Pierre is kind of hot. Yeah, I'm done with this cutscene already. I don't want to hear another word that comes out of your mouth. You're annoying me right now. You're frustrating me. I don't want to know what else happens in this cutscene. I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm leaving right now. I'm walking away. Goodbye, Lanny. Goodbye, Pierre. See ya. Alright, so I went for a bit of a walk and I calmed down. I'm ready to continue here. Let's just get this over with. Lanny says she doesn't flirt with him or anything because that would be bad. Alright, yeah, okay, at least she knows that would be wrong. Okay, no, never mind. That line, compliments aren't flirting, right? That tells me everything I need to know. For the first time in a very, very long time, I'm going with the, I guess, demeanor of the dialogue options. He's married. Come on, Lanny, like I know he does and says some very questionable things, but I mean, come on, have some respect for his marriage, for Caroline, like hello? I'm sorry, I can't deal with this cutscene anymore, like legitimately this one has me heated. Speaking of Caroline, she hopes Pierre will cook dinner for them tonight. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Caroline. It sounds like Lanny is going to bring him some food later on, so yeah, good luck with that. I buy a few goats from Marnie before heading over to the saloon where I buy salads and all of the cooking recipes. I complete a few jobs to earn 2 tickets, then I watch a cutscene featuring John Uke and Harvey. I think John Uke has been teaching Harvey to work out and be healthy. I'm not sure. I really don't know because I'm thoroughly distracted by something else in this cutscene. John Uke was flirting with Harvey a lot here. I'm talking unrelenting flirting to the point where I considered skipping the cutscene. Harvey clearly was uncomfortable, which sort of made the entire thing uncomfortable. If Harvey had been okay with it, then yeah, it would have been funny, but I don't know, I just felt bad for Harvey here. He just wasn't comfortable at all with what John Uke was saying. It ends on a good note, however, as John Uke says he's proud of how far Harvey has come and Harvey thanks him for the compliment. So it's better than the cutscene with Lanny and Pierre, that's for certain. I still like the character of John Uke, despite this, but Lanny's character, I'm not sure about her anymore, to be honest. We have yet another cutscene involving Ren and Lewis this time. Ren teaches Lewis about the wonders of modern technology. Of course Ren would be the villager who gives like a palate cleanser after the previous 2 cutscenes. This is why Ren is easily my favorite character in Sunberry Village. She is just miles ahead of everybody else, and again, everybody else is a great character, which says a lot about how good of a character Ren is. While this cutscene plays, I want to discuss something else. I feel like we're at the point where there's going to be a lot more cutscenes. I've been working on my friendships a lot more since summer began, and at this point I've got at least 2 hearts of friendship with almost everybody, if not 3 or 4 hearts of friendship. So you're more than likely going to see a pretty big rise in the number of cutscenes that happen on a weekly basis, which I think is a good thing because it means we're going to find out more information about these villagers and their backstories and what they get up to on a daily basis. I trade my tickets for some wonderful prizes, the main 2 being a Stardew tea and the Friendship 101 book. I spend the remainder of the day in the Sunberry Mines. I fall asleep in the tent on floor 5. There's not much to be said about the rest of my journey through this place on day 47. After reaching the bottom of the mines, I make a beeline for Robin's shop. I get there just in time and buy some wood and stone before asking her to upgrade the coop. I drop a moonberry off at the museum that also happens to be the final mineral that Elias wanted. I receive a delicious 20,000 gold. I also show the legendary fish to Elias. Safe to say he has never seen this one before and was shocked to see it in my hands. I complete a few jobs and I send items to the villagers to finish off the day. Clinton has returned the copper hoe to me on day 48. I have no recollection of sending this hoe to him, but okay, I'll take it, thank you. Elias has sent me part 2 of the museum quest. I now have to find artifacts. I'll look into that whole thing later on, but for now I send the hoe back to Clinton, harvest hops, melons and coffee beans and sell a ton of crappie whoppies. I sell gems to Clinton and get 32 blue grass starter from a prismatic orb, and 3 battery packs from a different orb. I donate 5 gold star melons and a tomato before making 4 iridium sprinklers. Diala and Duria are making something. It seems like they're trying to make fertilizer. They must have gone horribly wrong somewhere along the way because 2, I'm not sure who or what they are, but 2 magical people have been summoned. A demon. That's what it. Well, two demons actually. That's what Diala and Daria have summoned. Okay. It sounds like Ray and Aisha are here to stay, so, you know, good luck to everybody in this village. I might come here less often now, because I'm scared. The mysterious Crappy Wappy I found in the bottom of the mines has grown a little bit. Silas believes the reason why it's growing is because of me, which I like that. That's cool. Elias thinks that the crop might be connected to all of us. Excuse me, Elias, don't do that. Don't ever take the spotlight off me ever again. It might be connected to all of us. Yeah, you're on thin ice, Elias. Don't make me add you to my list of enemies. Because I won't. I'm too lazy. All jokes aside, I do like Elias. I think he's a fantastic character. I take back what I said and I apologize for it. Elias, you're not on my list of enemies and you never will be. You're not on thin ice and you never will be. You're fine. We're good. I apologize. My bad. Alright, let's just move on. I'm sorry again. These right here are the artifacts Elias wants for the museum. I haven't found any of these yet, so it's not like the minerals where I had all but one of them in my inventory already. I'm gonna have to put in some work here. Leanne is having a very gossipy sounding conversation with Daria when I walk into the cafe. I want to know more, please tell me what's going on, what happened, what are you talking about, answer me please. Alas, I was not told about what all of the hullabaloo was about. Moon is having a difficult time studying, so I help them with it. Then I join in on the Sunberry Saturday event. I think that's what it was called in the letter that John Uke sent me ages ago. My job is to bring the villagers the meal they requested. Now, I could say that it was easy to do this, but I took a picture of everybody saying their order, so yeah, it was easy, but that's only because I had the answers right in front of me. I would have done horribly here if I didn't take a picture of their orders. I spend the rest of the day fishing. Evelyn has sent me 3 flowers on day 49 and Diala has invited me over for coffee. I ask Robin to upgrade the barn and I buy all of the crafting recipes that are being sold, along with a bed. Whoops. I sell sunberries, buy 2 auto-grabbers and place them in the coop and the barn. Lyra, Owens, Joel and Sheila, the rabbits, have been added to the coop. I spend the remainder of the day chopping down trees. I have received the steel hoe on the morning of day 50. I send my watering can to Clinton before visiting the bottom of the mines. Pip and Pep have set up shop down here for the day. I have no idea who they are, but they're selling the bait and bobber books, so I buy it. I won't say no to some free fishing experience points. Well, technically I paid for them, but you know what I mean. I catch the emerald snapper, the something tilapia and the eel-tailed catfish before selling some iridium bars. I buy 25 crab pots and 900 pieces of bait. I place a few pots here at the beach, at the river in town, at the river in Sunberry Village, and at the forest in Sunberry Village. I should get everything I need for the shipping collection with all of these pots. I've also decided to make a crab pot category in the chest menu. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just the coolest thing you've ever seen? It's the coolest thing I've ever seen for sure. I love this mod. It makes me feel so neat and tidy and organized. I show the 3 fish I caught to Elias and spend the remainder of the day fishing at the beach. I'm beginning to see the value of these sunberries on day 51. I sold around 400 of them and I made 50,000 gold. That is not bad at all. I think that's even better than cranberries and blueberries. I buy 55 corn seeds and 100 quality fertilizer, then I check out the fishing journal. I want to verify something that I think I saw in here. Yeah, here it is. I knew I saw this. One of them says that if you want to get the fish, you might have some luck setting a trap. This is why I put the crab pots in town and in the forest here in Sunberry Village. The whole setting a trap thing makes me think of crab pots, so I'm hoping this is the case. I plant corn, sprinkling quality fertilizer on them as I do. I need 5 gold star corn for the community center, which is why I did this. I received the watering can on day 52, so I send it right back to Clinton. I continue the trend of buying wood and stone before asking Robin to upgrade the coop. I spend the day cleaning up the farm. I catch an octopus on day 53. The octopus can be a real tough fish to catch, so I'm glad it's out of the way. Ray says that people here tend to avoid her like the plague, so why do I keep talking to her? This is literally the first time I've spoken to you. What do you mean, why do I keep talking to you? I've never met you before. What is going on? I spend the day working on my fishing level. The golden watering can has been sent to me on day 54. This time I asked Clinton to upgrade the hoe. I harvest hundreds of sunberries, all of which I sell. Well, almost all of them. I hold on to 1 gold star sunberry. The crappie wappie in Sunberry is continuing to grow, good to know. I give a star drop tea and a gold star Sunberry to Diala for her birthday. That's a solid 6 or 7 hearts of friendship right there. I ask Robin to build a shed and spend the day in the mines. Day 55 begins in the mines as I fell asleep in the tent on floor 10 last night. I gallivant around this place, collecting diamond after diamond, emerald after emerald, ruby after ruby. I think between this mine system, the Chest Anywhere mod, and the Legacy Cave mod, this is the most fun I've had playing Stardew Valley in quite some time, which says a lot considering how much fun I had with the last 2 videos and the entire Stardew Valley expanded playthrough. I'm really enjoying the Sunberry Village mod, and I'm glad I gave the cave mod a go at the same time. It really added to it. Diala has sent me the cooking recipe for hot chocolate, shlanta. I should clarify, shlanta in Irish means cheers, basically. You know, good health, good wealth, that kind of thing. The mothfish has appeared in one of the crab pots, specifically in Sunberry Forest. According to the journal, that leaves me with 2 more fish left to catch. In Sunberry Village, anyway. I have considerably more to catch in Stardew Valley. I was already sending diamonds to the villagers, but that's going to increase even more now that I'm getting at least a dozen every single time I go through the mines. Day 56. The final day of summer has arrived. It begins with 2 wonderful letters. The first is from Clinton, letting me know that he has upgraded my hoe. The second is from Diala. She has given me the crafting recipe for the alchemy table. I can use this machine to make potions. I send my axe to Clinton and I buy 4 rabbits. Their names are Yeah, Ms, I don't know, and OK. I may have ran out of ideas for names at this point. I also bought 1 pig and I called it Pig. I harvest melons, pumpkins, flowers, and a starfruit in the cave, sell some things and stuff to Clinton, and have him open up some orbs. One of them gives me the final dwarf scroll I need, lovely stuff. I donate it to the museum and I grab the translation guide. Then I head to the community center where I donate a large egg, a milk and a duck egg, corn, and 5 gold star pumpkins. I finish off the day by attending my favorite festival in the entire game. And that is it for summer. Let's not dilly-dally. Let's get started with fall. Day 57 begins with a letter from good old Silas. He has sent me the crafting recipe for the mineral grinder. That is a good way to start fall in my humble opinion. I find a hazelnut, ask Robin to build a second shed, and donate the hazelnut, finishing off the fall foraging bundle. I decide to buy 5 of each fall crop and a carob tree sapling. I have no idea what that sapling is, but it's news, so I want it. The main crop for the next 28 days shall be cranberries, you know, all reliable. Ren pays a visit to the home of Ray and Aisha. She wants to make sure they have clean running water. Ray obviously wants her to leave because, well, it's Ray, but Aisha is having none of it. It goes very well, and before long, the 2 demons have access to clean water. Ren then teaches Aisha about manners and pronouns and the general concept of having respect for other people. I think Ren might be the most beautifully written character I've seen in this mod so far, potentially in all of Stardew Valley. She doesn't shy away from the fact that she's had and still has a complicated life, but she's doing her best, she helps other people, and most importantly, she's learning to be more and more accepting of herself every single day, despite everything she's going through. I spend most of the day fishing in this area. It's the place with the flying totems that dropped the aquamarine ring, I think it was, the last time I was here. Yeah, that place. I catch another new legendary fish, the Angler Junior. Following that, I catch the firetail guppy. I believe that is the final fish in Sunberry Village. The Iridium Axe has been acquired on day 58, and Jumana has sent me flowers. Before I do anything else, I plant all of the crappie wappies I bought yesterday. Then I skedaddle into town where I find out that the special orders board has been built. The wizard wants me to find prismatic slime and bring it to him. That I shall do. The reward for this order is the crafting recipe for monster musk, which I desperately need right now. I catch a salmon and I spend the rest of the day fishing here at the beach. I sell some thingies to Clinton on the morning of day 59. I use my newfound fortune to have a 3rd shed built on the farm. I donate a tiger trout and a sardine, then it's off to Sunberry Village. The special orders board has been built here too. Ren needs materials to build a nice garden. I accept her order, but unfortunately I can't do it. You see, she wants blue jazz and tulips. Both of those seeds are only sold during spring. I'm essentially locked out of this one. I show the final 2 fish to Elias so he can write about them in his journal, and the rest of the day is spent in the mines. Elias has sent me a reward for catching all of the Sunberry fish on day 60, a deluxe worm bin, and that's it. I'm gonna be honest with you all, I was a little disappointed, but I mean, it's better than nothing, so I'll take it. I buy the price catalogue book. I was really hoping to get the Queen of Sauce cookbook, but it isn't being sold here today, sadly. I sell most of the gems I found in the mines yesterday and then spend the remainder of the day searching for a prismatic slime. I basically go down to floor 5, then floor 15, then back to the surface. From there I go back to floor 5, then 15, and so on and so forth. I defeated quite a few slimes and duggies and I found the prismatic slime at around 8 PM. Sam, Sebastian, and Lanny are talking about what they think is the most important aspect of a video game. They want to know whether I think it's customization, story, or modability. Yeah, I mean all 3 are important, but the most important one for me is gameplay. Let's take Borderlands 1 for example. The story of that game is, well, it has a story, it barely has, it doesn't have a story. It kind of does, but you got to do a lot of reading, and it's not really explained too well. In terms of customization, you can change the color of your character's outfit, but that's about it really. And I've never installed a single mod for the game. Despite all of that though, it's still my favorite game of all time, simply because of the gameplay. It's just fun. That's the best way to describe it. Playing the Borderlands 1 game all the way through is just a fun experience. After buying some coffee, I give the prismatic jelly to the wizard, completing his order. I plant the carob sapling inside the cave along with a couple of pineapples on the morning of day 61. I buy almost 2,000 wood from Robin and ask her to upgrade one of the sheds on the farm. Speaking of sheds, I've decided to put all of the furnaces inside one of them. I've also given an appropriate name to the chest inside here and put it into its own category, the machines category. Again, this was super satisfying to do. I spend the remainder of the day chopping down trees and cleaning up the farm. Day 62 and 63 are spent doing the exact same thing. I buy a rare crow from the travelling cart during that period of time too. Cranberries are ready for harvest on day 64. I think what I'm going to do is take all of the money I get from these and reinvest them into more cranberry seeds. I've also decided to sell eggs, milk and wool. I donate a bottle of wine, a large goat milk and an eggplant before asking Robin to upgrade shed number 2. I sell more milk, buy a few salads and accept an order from Linus. He wants me to fish up 20 pieces of trash. That's a handy order, nice and easy. I'll make time for it today or tomorrow or whenever really. The Croppy Woppy is continuing to grow inside Sunberry Village, lovely. John Uke has fallen asleep outside. You know, that's understandable, I don't blame him. Sometimes you just have to take a nap no matter where you are. All of a sudden, it begins pouring rain, so we take shelter inside a cave. Now the reason why we went inside here was to avoid getting wet. So of course the logical thing for us to do next inside here is to go swimming and, get wet. I gotta say, I don't understand the logic of some of these people sometimes. I don't think I ever will. I give moss to Aisha and a pumpkin to Ray. Both of them love their presents. It dawned on me that it is still raining after that cutscene with John Uke, so I use this to my advantage and I catch the walleye. I open up a gold trash can and find the alleyway buffet book and donate the walleye I caught. The only fish I have left to donate is the red snapper. More cranberries are ready for harvest on day 65. Not a lot, certainly not as many as yesterday, but a decent amount. I move a chest or two, or well, all of them, into a shed. I spend the morning organizing everything into different categories. The days of taking a random item and throwing it into a random chest are well and truly over, believe you me. I have found a lunar bean. It gives a ton of energy when you eat it. But I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to hold onto it in case I need it for something in the future. I plant sunberries in the cave and yeah, that's about it. The only other thing that happened is I made a few thousand gold by throwing some stuff into the shipping bin. There are 2 birthdays taking place on day 66. I send a Georgia Cola to Ren and a gold bar to Maya. If there is one thing I am determined to do, it is to max out as many friendships as I possibly can before the end of winter. I want to see all of the cutscenes and learn about all of the lore and the backstory and the gossip. Give me it all. I ask Robin to upgrade the third and final shed and go fishing up in the bathhouse area. It takes, a couple of minutes, but I eventually get all of the trash I need. I toss it all into the dumpster to complete Linus's order. Ren and the Spanner are working on Ren's vehicle. Spanner thinks he's fixed it, but he somehow made it even worse. Yeah, the car kinda catches fire, but Ren is able to put out the fire, thankfully. Spanner immediately goes into apology mode, blaming himself for everything. Ren, on the other hand, says she doesn't care about the car, she just wants to know if he's alright. This catches Spanner by surprise, which is sad, he's surprised that Ren wants to know if he's okay. On top of that, he seems to be absolutely baffled that Ren isn't insulting him or saying that she wants nothing to do with him anymore. John Yuke is his boss, right? What has John Yuke said to him? Like, this isn't... he shouldn't be reacting this way to a little mistake. Okay, it was a big mistake. Something caught fire. But still, this is... I might need to have a conversation with John Yuke after this and find out what's been going on. Jumana has a special order for me. She wants flowers. Thankfully, she wants sunflowers, which I have the seeds for, so I can do this one, which is, nice. Ren has spotted a Gem Island flamingo. Hey, I recognize that bird. It's the bird from Ginger Island. I spend some time in the mines and I fall asleep inside the tent on floor 5, I want to say. Not floor 10, I think it's floor 5. I make it to the bottom of this place on day 67. I'm going through here for it's 3 reasons. Number 1, it's fun and I love this place. Number 2, I enjoy getting orbs and cracking them open. And number 3, I get a load of gems every time, which tend to sell for at least 20,000 gold. Not this time, however. I earn over 100,000 gold today. Granted, that's because I also sold iridium bars and some other gems and minerals. Truffles have been found on day 68, not a bad start considering I need one of these for the community center. I harvest wild mustard and royal anemone, I think I butchered that anyway, flowers, and chop down all of the pine trees that I've grown. I plant all of the saplings I get from these trees and make 33 tappers. I plop these down on the oak trees. The flower in Sunberry Village is not done growing yet, but it looks like it's close to being done, so I don't know. Maybe it is. Or maybe not, dude. I grab a few books from the bookseller, mainly for the experience points. But I also get the Way of the Wind Part 1 book for a tiny speed boost. I donate a yam to finish off the Fall Crops bundle, which also happens to be the final bundle in this room. That means the greenhouse on the farm has just been unlocked. A truffle has also been donated. Abigail's birthday takes place on day 69, so I send her a pumpkin. I harvest cranberries, sell a bunch of items to Pierre the platypus, and buy 350 cranberries. I ask Robin to upgrade the house and crack open a few orbs. I get not 1, not 2, not 4, but 3 magic rock candy, a star drop tea, and 9 fairy dust. These prismatic orbs are busted in the best, most exciting way possible. I get moonberry seeds and a seafoam pudding from the other orbs, among other items. I spend the rest of the day planting seeds. I harvest more cranberries on day 70 and plant pineapple and ancient seeds. I trade my tickets for artifact troves and the bait and bobber book. I'm also 1 ticket away from a star drop tea. I catch the anglerfish before moving into the sewers where I catch the mutant carp. Up next we have the lava eel. I failed to catch it the first time, but I get it on the second attempt. Day 71 is already a magnificent day as there is a rabbit's foot in the auto grabber. And coffee is ready for harvest. I've also tossed a few things into the dehydrator as I need them for the shipping collection. William wants 100 bug meat. I can do that relatively easily, I believe. Speaking of William, crabs have decided to invade his shop. Gustavo shows up and takes the crabs out of his shop. On a completely unrelated note, we can now buy crab cakes in the saloon for the next couple of days. After catching a red snapper and making my regular sale to Clinton, I buy 25 crab cakes and 20 salads. I donate the rabbit's foot and I finish off the last fishing bundle by donating the red snapper I caught. I spend the rest of the day in the mines. I was planning on collecting bug meat for William, but I've just had an idea. I'm going to focus on the Dust Sprite Monster Eradication goal instead. If I complete this one, I'll get the Burglar Ring, which will give me a chance to get double the loot from monsters, which would be incredibly handy here. I toss winter roots into a seed maker on day 72. They will be turned into winter seeds. I can then plant these seeds in the greenhouse or inside this cave and potentially finish off the winter foraging bundle before winter even begins. The Stardew Valley Fair takes place today. I need 2,800 tickets for a rare crow and a star drop. I place 9 of my most valuable items into the Grange display and I come in first place. I earn a tasty 1,000 tokens for doing so. Before I collect my prize, I decide to talk to the Sunberry villagers. Moon wants enough tickets to buy the fedora. Alright, I'll see what I can do. I bet all 1,000 tickets on green and I lose. That's not good. I played the slingshot game and I win 104 tokens. Yeah, that's not worth it. I'm gonna try to avoid playing any more games here if I can. I bet all 104 tokens on green and I win.
Yeah!
I bet 208 tokens on green and I win again.
Yeah!
416 tokens become 832 tokens.
Yeah!
I reach 1664 tokens.
Yeah!
And one more victory puts me at a total of 3,328 tokens.
Yeah!
I buy the rare crow and the star drop. Then I try to give Moon the tokens they need for the fedora, but they won't take them from me. I don't mean to be dramatic here, but my day is ruined. I send a flower to Amina on day 73 because it is her birthday. Then I head into the mines and go after dust sprites. I'm making a lot of progress very quickly thanks to the monster musk. I take a break to accept an order from Maya. She wants 5 aquamarine, 5 frozen tears and 15 iron bars in order to make a brand new sword. It's back to the mines for the rest of the day. I find myself in the mines once again on day 74. I complete the dust sprite eradication goal at around 8 in the morning. There's still plenty of time left in the day, so I keep going and I finish off the slime goal a few minutes later. My next target is the skeleton goal. Luckily I can just refresh floor 71 over and over and over again as a bunch of them spawn inside there every time. I complete this goal at around midday. Up next we have the duggies and the rock crabs. Though I feel like the rock crabs goal won't be completed until winter. They tend to spawn a lot less frequently than the other monsters inside here. I complete the duggies goal before 3 PM. I grab my burglar ring and head right back into the mines. The combination of the monster musk and the burglar ring greatly speeds up the process of getting all of the bug meat I need. When I'm finished here in the mines, I leave and go into town. I run into Sterling, who wants to show me what he does for fun on a night like this. Ooh, are we doing like a scavenger hunt or looking for forage, or maybe we're even... Oh no, it's swimming. Yeah, we're going swimming, of course we are. I kinda saw this coming because of the previous cutscene where John Uke went swimming with me in the cave. This isn't a bad thing though, I mean it was a nice cutscene. I drop all 100 bug meat off at Williams and I go to sleep in the tent on floor 5. I've got all 5 aquamarine and 75 iron ore I need before I've even left the mines on day 75. Also, I found out the hard way that you have to manually put the iron ore into the furnace and then collect the iron bars they make in order for it to count towards Maya's order. Lesson learned, I suppose. I need 5 frozen tears, so I spend a bit of time in the other mines to get those. I've got everything I need, so at around 10 PM I skedaddle back to the farm and toss my iron ore into the furnaces. Again, I did this manually, I did not use the automate mod for this one. Just, keep that in mind if you're also playing the Sunberry Village mod with the automate mod installed along with it. Don't make the same mistake I did. I harvest sunflowers on the morning of day 76. I forget who it is exactly, but somebody wants 10 of them. It might be Amina, I think that's who wants the sunflowers. I collect 33 oak resin and use them to make 33 kegs. I grab the iron bars that have been smelted, place my kegs into a shed, and harvest sunberries. I've got 2 more iridium sprinklers, so I plop them down on the ground and I plant pineapple, sunberry, and winter seeds. I've put every single chest that's linked to a machine into a lovely category all by themselves, so now even the chest menu is all neat and tidy and I feel incredible about that. After earning over 100,000 gold, I ask Clinton to crack open some orbs. I get a prismatic shard, moonberry seeds, some incredible stuff altogether. Jumana is teaching Amina how to properly take care of flowers. This was a heartwarming cutscene, short but sweet. Ophelia's husband manages another hotel in Zuzu City, while Ophelia manages the one here in Sunberry Village. I deliver 10 sunflowers to Jumana, and I talk to Maya about Marlin. She's upgrading Marlin's sword, which is very nice of her. She wanted to go a step further and make him a brand new sword, but he's, a bit attached to this one right here. Apparently somebody gifted it to him long ago, so it has a lot of sentimental value. I complete Maya's order, earn 10,000 gold for doing so, buy some copper ore for the future production of kegs, and spend the evening in the mines. Maya has sent me a letter on day 77. I can now buy the weapon she made using the materials I delivered to her yesterday. I'll have to take a look. I might just buy this new weapon. Jumana has told me to set some of this season's flowers aside. Who knows when I might need them, is what she says. Right, so that I think is the game just literally directly telling me that I'll need these flowers during winter, or at least at some point during fall in year 2. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna set some of the flowers from this season aside. I send a gift, or 2, or 10, make 9 lightning rods, buy some hay, and place the lightning rods down. 10 pieces of hay have been donated to the community center, and Robin has given me the crafting recipe for the flute block and the drum block. Sweet. I ask her to upgrade the house again, and I put truffles into oil makers. Daria has sent me the cooking recipe for the ice cream bowl on day 78. I make a rain totem and pick up the 2 winter forage I still need for the community center. I guess the winter seeds really did pay off. Nice stuff. I make a fried egg and a Mackie roll, convert my coffee into triple shot espressos, and donate the Mackie roll and the fried egg. The winter foraging bundle has been completed, which means the foraging room in its entirety is now done and dusted. All I need is an oak resin and a nautilus shell. Clinton wants me to defeat 50 dust sprites. I really wish you had told me about this last week when I defeated 300-400 of them, but alright, I'll do it again. It looks like the Crappie Wappy in Sunberry Village has finished growing. Ari wants Ripley to help him move boxes later. Ripley says yes. Ophelia wants Ripley to help her unblock a tunnel in the mines later as well. Ripley says yes. Mi Young wants Ripley to find out why a parsnip she harvested is blue. Ripley says yes. I tell Ripley that it's okay to say no to people. Ripley basically ignores my advice and says that she doesn't know what I mean and I don't know what I'm talking about, and everybody is just so nice when they ask her to do something and that I just don't get it. Yeah, I clearly can't help you here. I tried my best, but it's not working, so see ya. Prepare for a substantial amount of lore now as we've joined Ren on a trip into the city. Ren used to be married to Robin. Yeah, I had a feeling they had some sort of history when they met in Robin's shop during spring, I think it was. They had a baby. I see where this is going. A baby boy. Yup. Ren asked for a divorce because she could tell that what was going on in her life was having a massive effect on Robin. Robin was trying to take care of all 3 of them, and in Ren's words, Sebi had to come first. Yeah, there it is. Ren is Sebi's mother. Sebastian's mother, rather. So Ren filed for divorce, moved away, and took the steps they needed to take in order to truly be themselves. Ren didn't realize that Robin lives in Pelican Town when she herself moved to Sunberry Village, so that was quite the surprise, as you can imagine. Also, Sebastian doesn't know that he's Ren's son. Honestly, who knows if Ren is going to tell him at any point that she is his mother? That would be a lot to unpack, so I'd completely understand if she decided not to tell him. Ren... I said before that Ren is the most beautifully written character in this mod. I'm gonna change that. I still think she's the most beautifully written character in this mod, but she's also the most detailed, interesting character in this mod, by far. It's so incredibly obvious that whoever designed and made the character of Ren put so much time and effort and work and energy into it. Ren's backstory is so incredibly detailed and fleshed out. I had so many questions about this character because she clearly had a link to Robin in some way, so finding out all of this today explained so many questions I had on my mind. And in general, the more I see of Ren, the more I'm thinking, okay, yeah, she's, like I said, she's had a complicated life. She still has a complicated life, but she's doing her best. She's helping other people. She's trying to be the best version of herself that she possibly can be. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I just wanted to, explain how much I appreciate the level of effort and energy that went into the creation of Ren's character, because like I said, she's easily the most interesting character in this mod, which says a lot because there are a lot of interesting characters in Sunberry Village. So to be at the top of I'm rambling so much right now, I apologize, but to be at the very tip top of that list, that's a massive achievement. I know all of this is a lot to absorb, I'm giving a lot of information right now, so I'm going to give the shorter version of the remainder of today. Elias is making spicy eel for Ari tonight. I think Elias and Ari are Blake's fathers, that was definitely mentioned at some point. Blake is not happy about having to eat fish tonight, and they make that very, very clear. Elias says that he's taking care of that and will be making pasta for Blake and Leanne instead. First off, Elias and Ari, fantastic characters, great people. No complaints about them. I will say though, I'm getting a bit of an iffy vibe from Blake and Leanne. I don't know, I don't know, I just feel like there's something off about them, like they don't seem like the most genuine, kind people. I could be wrong, I more than likely am wrong, but I guess we'll see. I could end up eating these words, you know, I might be completely wrong here. Jumana won summer spangles, I have 10 of those ready to go, so that's an easy one. In fact, it's already done. Ray is very confused about why people complain about things and then refuse help with those exact same things. Yeah, I agree with you, Ray. I very much agree with you on that one. That is for true. The whole true, and nothing but the true. I complete Clinton's order before the night is over. I trade 10 iridium bars for the Desert Warp Totem crafting recipe on day 79. I spend the day in the Caverinos, where I focus on defeating mummies and serpents for the eradication goals. Mr. Key has sent me a letter on day 80. If I can reach floor 25 in the Caverinos, which I did yesterday, he will send me a mountain of gold. Yeah, already done, bro chacho. I spend the day chopping down trees. I hit level 10 in foraging and choose the botanist perk. Day 81 begins with a letter from Ophelia. The much anticipated Twilight Festival will be taking place tomorrow. I've finally unlocked the Mastery Cave, but I do not have enough experience to unlock my first reward. Aww. I earn around 1500 experience points just from clearing out the cave, so I'm gonna do this every single morning. This could be a very, very easy way of unlocking the 5th level of Mastery, and the 4th, and 3rd, and 2nd, and 1st. I harvest cranberries, sell them, and ask Robin to upgrade the house. I speak with the dwarf for the first time, buy 25 megabombs and 30 salads, and visit Maya. I wanted to see what the new sword she has looks like, but Maya has decided to leave the shop. That was rude, Maya. That was very rude. I spend the remainder of the day inside the Sunberry mines. My adventure inside here continues on day 82. At this point, I know where the ladder is on every floor simply because of how many times I've been inside here. So it's easy enough for me to grab a ton of loot and make a beeline for the ladder. When I leave the mines, I'm treated to a cutscene involving Aisha. She tried to give Jody a hand with something, but Jody ran away from her. She then tried to help Harvey, but he too ran away. Then the game just kinda stopped working. It took a minute or so before the cutscene just played again. Jody ran away, Harvey ran away, and the cutscene stopped again before playing for a third time. Sadly, it looks like I might have to skip this cutscene or I'll be stuck in like a loop, basically. That's unfortunate, but you know, what can you do? And now, finally, it is time for the Twilight Festival. I feel like Gambit right now from the Deadpool vs. Wolverine movie. This moment has me feeling like, you know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here. Yeah, I'm in that kind of mood. The first item I buy is a cowboy hat because, well, it's a cowboy hat, so of course I'm gonna buy it. Elias is selling artifacts, so I buy 5 that I haven't donated yet. And a dwarf scroll, which I did not mean to buy, but I guess I have another one of those now. Silas is selling rings, so I buy 2 lucky rings and 2 burglar rings. This right here was a mistake. I mean, the lucky rings are fine, but the burglar rings were a complete waste of money. Or Twilight feathers. Only the effect of 1 burglar ring kicks in, so it's pointless wearing more than 1. I buy a geode crusher before checking out Daria's stall. They've got some cool stuff, but I don't really need any of it right now. Ripley has decided not to show up today. I guess maybe she was asked by like 10 other people to do more jobs for them today. Maybe that's what happened. Flowers are being sold here, so I buy 2 of each one. Amina is selling orbs. It was incredibly tempting to buy 10 eclipse orbs, and I might, but I want to see if there's any other stalls first. Moon is dressed as a ghost. They've really gotten into the Halloween spirit, haven't they? That's nice to see. Ari is selling farming related items. Neat. In the end, I decide to buy 10 eclipse orbs, 5 midnight orbs, and 3 kegs. Here is everything I bought today, and that is it for day 82. The lightning rods have produced battery packs on day 83, 6 of them to be exact, and 33 oak resin have been produced, so I make 33 more kegs. It has taken me a while, but I've made a mineral grinder and an alchemy table. I can use these two machines to make potions from the Sunberry Village mod. I've unlocked my first mastery upgrade. I'm going to go with farming mastery simply because I want the iridium scythe. That was the most important factor here. Silas and the wizard have discovered an ancient scroll and are deciphering it. I won't lie, I legitimately forgot all about this cutscene as soon as it ended. I'm realizing now while I'm editing the video that this had to have been important. I mean, it involves a scroll. That's always important. I wish I had paid more attention to this cutscene. I feel like I just missed out on a vital gameplay aspect right here. Anywhomst, I attend the Spirits Eve festival where I buy a rare crow and the jack-o'-lantern crafting recipe. Then I make my way through the maze and collect the golden pumpkin at the end. I make 75,000 gold today, mainly from gems. Day 84 is here, which means fall has come to an end. Tomorrow is the beginning of winter. I use fairy dust to make the tappers finish producing oak resin. I complete a few jobs, donate artifacts to Gunther, break open all of the orbs I bought yesterday, and do the same thing with some frozen geodes I have. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is in the Sunberry blacksmith shop. I just want to see the new sword, please. I'm not asking for much here, I just want to see the sword that I helped you make, Maya. Please, just let me see it. I have absolutely no recollection of accepting an order from John Uke, but he apparently wants 60 torches, 40 hardwood, and 10 pieces of cloth, so I deliver these items to him. I do not receive a reward. Excuse me? I donate an oak resin, leaving me with one final item left to obtain, the Nautilus shell. I spend the remainder of the day doing what is quite possibly my favorite thing to do right now, exploring the Sunberry mines. This is easily my favorite mine system, along with the mines in the Duran's Rest mod. I miss that mod, I miss it so much, I just want it back. Please, somehow bring it back. Anywhomst, before I begin reminiscing for who knows how long about the Duran's Rest mod, I'm just gonna leave it at that for today. Which means that's also all she wrote for fall. Day 85 begins where day 84 ended, in the mines. It's the same story as always inside here. Defeat the monsters, collect the orbs, diamonds, yada yada yada, and make it down to the very bottom. Maya is finally in the shop, which means I can buy the new sword. Theron's sword, it's called. It does between 80 and 110 damage and has a bunch of good stats. It's even better than the Galaxy sword, it seems. And now the time has finally come to discuss the Croppy Woppy that has been growing here in the center of the village. It's a variant of the Sunberry, but golden. A golden Sunberry, if you will. I received 2 golden Sunberries for the role I played in this entire thing. I tossed them into the seedmaker chest and continue going about my business. Ophelia wants me to defeat 15 mushroom monsters in the mines. These are a very common enemy inside there, so this shouldn't be too bad. The wizard wants ectoplasm, which I can get by defeating a ghost. Again, that shouldn't be too bad at all. I trade my tickets and I receive a Stardrop tea. I'm also only 2 tickets away from another Stardrop tea. I gave a pumpkin and a tea to Krobus and buy 2 crafting recipes and a Stardrop. I finish off the day by planting golden sunberries, normal sunberries, and moonberries in the greenhouse. I place 4 bee houses inside the cave, which was a mistake. You see, they don't produce honey inside here, so nothing's going to happen with them. Finally, I send my watering can to Clinton. Mi Young has sent me seeds for a flower that grows during winter on day 86. Nice, nice. I unlock my second mastery reward while harvesting sunberries, so I head down to the cave and grab mining mastery. The big thing with this reward is rocks with gems in them now drop twice as many gems. So we're basically guaranteed a minimum of 2 with potential for 4 gems every time. After finding a Nautilus shell at the beach, I donate it to the community center. The final bundle has been completed. The Junimos can go home and I can go to the mines in Sunberry Village. Within seconds of being here, I get 4 aquamarine from a single rock. I am going to have such a ridiculous amount of gems from this point forward. Here is a look at everything I picked up inside here today. Between the diamonds and the emeralds alone, I should get over 30,000 gold. I toss everything into the shipping bin and yeah, 86,000 gold. That is beautiful. I begin day 87 by grabbing the iridium watering can from my mailbox. Mayor Lewis has sent me a letter letting me know that people have been receiving items they asked for many years ago. Because the packages are addressed from my farm, I've just earned 500 friendship points with all of these villagers. Linus and Ray have been given a birthday gift, and the rest of the villagers are celebrating the community centre being repaired. As happy as I am that they're happy, I am a busy bee, and so I cannot afford to dilly-dally here. I spend the day in the mines working on the bat eradication goal. I get it done at around 4 PM. I remain inside this place and get ectoplasm from a ghost just before 6 PM. I'm not in any rush whatsoever to give it to the wizard, so I work on the shadow person goal for the remainder of the day. Moon has sent me the cooking recipe for chocolate chip cookies on day 88. Ari has sent me 3 iridium sprinklers. Yeah, I'm glad I prioritized your shop over Pierre's. Thank you, Ari, this was very kind of you. I chop down mahogany trees and get to work on repairing the boat in William's shop. I donate 200 pieces of hardwood, 5 battery packs, and 5 iridium bars. Robin and William will fix the boat tonight, which means I should be able to use it to get to Ginger Island tomorrow. I stock up on cork bobbers and give the ectoplasm to the wizard. The remainder of the day is spent in the Skull Caverinos. The carob tree has produced a carob, shocking I know, on day 89. I waste no time whatsoever in going directly to Ginger Island. I catch a lionfish, find a golden walnut and another golden walnut. I also found one while fishing, that's why it says I have 3, just in case anyone is wondering. I complete the gem puzzle to get another 5 walnuts. Sometimes it can take ages to guess where each gem goes, other times it takes maybe a minute or so. Thankfully it was the latter this time. I find another walnut and give one to a parrot to unlock the north side of the island. I collect all of the walnuts I have access to in this part of the map before spending the day in the volcano dungeon. I'm finding pineapple seeds, dragon teeth and golden walnuts. I enter the shop on floor 5 where I trade 10 diamonds for the Diamond Hunter book. I also grab a cooking recipe and a crafting recipe and a few mega bombs while I'm here. I pass out on floor 9. So close and yet so far from floor 10. I return to Ginger Island on day 90. After unlocking the west side of the map, I collect most of the walnuts I have access to in this area. I've got enough to buy the farmhouse, so I do. Then it's off to the volcano dungeon once again. I use my watering can to head left once I'm inside. This takes me outside where I grab 2 more walnuts. The entire day is spent inside here. It goes basically the same way as yesterday, except I actually make it to floor 10 this time. I decided to make 2 iridium bands while I was on floor 9, which will be used very, very soon. But first, I grab a walnut, a prismatic shard, and another walnut. Then I combine an iridium band with the burglar ring and an iridium band with the lucky ring. I also enchant my sword with 3 rubies for some extra damage. Finally, I use a prismatic shard to give my sword the vampiric effect. I plant crops here on the island on day 91. Bear in mind I'm using the remixed seeds mod, so I could get anything from these. Ancient fruit, strawberries, garlic, melons, wheat, anything at all could blossom from these wonderful seeds. I take a break from Ginger Island and return to what has essentially become my primary home in this game, the Sunberry Mines. I complete the order to defeat 15 mushroom monsters, give a stone to Aisha and a purple mushroom to Ray, and visit Ari. I buy not 1, not 2, but 250 deluxe speed grow from him and 150 beet seeds from Sandy over in the desert. After grabbing 102 starfruit seeds, I sell diamonds to Clinton and plant all of my croppy whoppies. I toss cheese and mayonnaise into the shipping bin before going to Sleepy Town. 70,000 gold, an unexpected yet marvelous amount of money. Day 92 begins with some good news as Caroline wants me to grow and ship 100 pineapples. The reward for this order is the beautiful crafting recipe for the solar panel, so it'll be nice to get this one out of the way. I meet the wizard up near the bathhouse where he gives me a mission. Right. I talk to Krobus, try to catch the mutant carp, realize I've already caught the mutant carp, enter the mutant bug lair, catch the slimejack, grab the dark talisman, once again forget that I've already caught the mutant carp, remember that I've already caught the mutant carp once again, use the dark talisman to open up the entrance to the witch's swamp, give a void mayonnaise to the goblin henchman to get him out of the way, catch a void salmon, grab the ink that belongs to the wizard, give it to the wizard and wait for all of this to blow over. Wait, no, sorry, that's not it. Give it to the wizard and unlock his shop. There we are, that's what happened. I harvest winter forage, make winter seeds and plant them. Lunar beans have been harvested on day 93. Aisha wants me to get some dessert items for Ray. She wants cookies, a maple bar, a pink cake, and chocolate cake. I only have one of those 4 items, the pink cake, which means I am unfortunately going to have to put effort into this one. Daria and Diala are selling cookies and a maple bar, so that's 3 of the 4 items covered. Aisha wants Maya to make her a weapon, but Maya doesn't exactly feel comfortable doing so, which I guess makes a lot of sense considering who Maya is, or rather, what Maya is. I catch a lingcod and a perch, which reminds me I still have to unlock fishing mastery. There we go. I equip 2 cork bobbers and deluxe bait to the advanced iridium rod and go after the glacier fish. I've also consumed a seafoam pudding, so you put everything together and this battle just became like 90% easier. After catching the glacier fish, I dig up a walnut and complete the Simon Says game to get another 3 walnuts. I catch the clownfish and spend most of the evening fishing right here. Eventually I've got a total of 20 walnuts, so I use them to unlock the island resort. With this built, I can head right and complete the mermaid puzzle for another 5 walnuts. I fish up a walnut and dig up 2 more walnuts. I catch a stingray and spend the remainder of the night fishing on the farm. The dig site has been unlocked on day 94. Professor Snail has been freed from the cave he was trapped in, which means I can begin donating artifacts to this field office right here. I'm already off to an incredible start as I get the fossilized tail the very first time I go panning. I do a bit of fishing and donate all of the artifacts I have to Mr. Snail. I have Clinton crack open Omni Geodes and golden coconuts. I end up getting a mango tree sapling and a fossilized skull during this. That basically means I don't have to break open coconuts anymore. The only thing I really needed from them was the skull, and I just got it, so yeah, we're good. I find the shadow guy beside the community center and get the magnifying glass from him. I can now find and read secret notes. I catch a squid, and that is it for today. Day 95 is spent in the Skull Caverinos. I complete the mummy eradication goal before the time hits 10 AM. I find 2 iridium sprinklers in a chest on floor 64 and use staircases to get down to floor 100 at the very last second. I harvest over 100 beets on day 96. I get 1 golden walnut from this. Sad times. I really don't want to miss out on Caroline's order and have to wait for it to pop up again. So I've made the executive decision to take all of the pineapple seeds I have and plant them right here on Ginger Island. Believe you me, right, if there are 100 pineapples to be grown and shipped, then I'm going to grow and ship 100 pineapples. I answer 2 questions to get 2 golden walnuts and donate the fossilized skull. I use 10 walnuts to unlock the island trader and win 3 games of darts to get 3 more walnuts. There are just a couple of minutes left in the day, so I spend them in the volcano dungeon. I get 1 walnut when I harvest beets on day 97. I am not feeling oozy right now. I miss when that was a thing in wrestling. At least then I didn't have to deal with LA Knight not winning the Money in the Bank. Oh wait, no, he didn't win it. 3 times in a row. Yeah, I was dealing with that even back then. I was so sad about getting only 1 walnut here that I went straight to sleep. I find a mummified frog in the jungle on day 98. That is one of the 3 artifacts I need for Mr. Snail. I return to Pelican Town where I buy sugar and flour, learn how to make chocolate cake, and make the chocolate cake. I drop it off inside Ray's house, completing that order. Aisha's birthday is on day 99, so she receives a sunberry. I harvest lunar beans, make an island warp totem, and talk to the frog on the farm here on Ginger Island. I show him the melon and wheat that I grew, and he gives me 10 walnuts for doing so. I've only just now noticed while I'm editing this video that one of the mixed seeds turned into a garlic. I could have shown him that and received the other 5 walnuts he gives out. I wish I hadn't missed that. I dig up a walnut and a pearl, which also happens to be the 100th walnut overall. Lovely stuff. I enter Key's walnut room and accept an order from him. The Skull Caverinos have received an overhaul. I will receive 40 key gems if I can reach floor 100 inside there. I use a warp totem to get to the desert, enter the caverns, and spend the remainder of the day inside here. I'm not trying to get to floor 100 today though, no, not at all. You see, I can give jade to the desert trader for staircases every Sunday. So when Sunday comes around, I'll give them at least 100 jade and use all of the staircases to easily complete Mr. Key's order. What I am doing inside here today is working towards the serpent eradication goal. I do make time to attend the night market, however. I enter the submarine and catch 3 fish inside here. The spookfish, midnight squid, and blobfish have all been caught. And I get a star drop tea and a chesty westy. The one fish I have left to catch is the legend. And believe me when I say, that will be done before the end of winter. To finish off the day, I accept an order from Gunther. He wants 100 bones. I toss 3 pineapples into the shipping bin on day 100. I know that isn't a lot, in fact it's very, very little, but it's a start when it comes to Caroline's order. I've turned every pineapple I've harvested so far into pineapple seeds, so this is the first time I've actually shipped a pineapple for her. I break open all of the rocks at the dig site to get bones for Gunther, and I donate 2 more artifacts to the field office. There is but 1 more artifact left to find and donate to this wonderful place. I harvest a bunch of starfruit, plant a banana sapling, and toss my starfruit into kegs. I use 20 walnuts to have the teleportation tower built. I can use this thing right here to get back to Pelican Town from this farm. I decide to spend the rest of the day in the mines collecting the rest of the bones I need for Gunther. I drop them off at the museum, completing that order. Speaking of orders, Maya has another one for me. She wants 3 dragon teeth, 10 solar essence, and 15 iron bars in order to make a new sword. I do something I've done countless times so far. I spend the day inside the Sunberry mines, and I fall asleep inside the tent. I've got all of the solar essence I need when I leave the mines on day 101. I don't quite have all of the iron ore I need, however, so I spend the day in the volcano dungeon. I make it to floor 10 where I change my ring setup. I've combined a lucky ring with a burglar ring, and I'm using that alongside the iridium band and the lucky ring combination. So basically I'm using 2 lucky rings, a burglar ring, and an iridium band. I use prismatic shards to give my pickaxe the efficient enchantment. My watering can is now bottomless, and my fishing rod has received the preserving enchantment. I go through the volcano dungeon again on day 102. After I hit floor 10, I decide to take it easy for the rest of the day. I harvest a few crappie whoppies, toss iron ore into furnaces, collect the iron bars that are produced, and meet the wizard outside Sunberry Village. He teaches me the crafting recipe for the Sunberry Village warp totem. Thank you, but I'm not going to use this. I guarantee I will forget all about this warp totem as soon as you leave. I fall asleep in the tent in the mines in Sunberry. Come on, I've done this so many times. You know the drill. You know what happened here. That means I wake up inside here on day 103. How have I only just realized that you can break open these boxes and find an item inside them? I really wish I knew this at the beginning. I feel like I've missed out on like 30 or 40 boxes, at least 30 or 40, if not like 50. I deliver the dragon teeth and the iron bars to Maya, and I spend the day inside the skull caverinos. I buy mega bombs from the dwarf on day 104 before saying hello to Clinton. And by that I mean I sold 66 diamonds to him. I take a look at the sword Maya made. It is called the Dragon Fang. It looks really cool and I want it, but it doesn't seem to be worth it. I'd rather keep using the sword I have right now. I mean, I'll buy the Dragon Fang in the future, but only when I have a lot more money. The very first thing I do on day 105 is use a warp totem to get to the desert. I trade 114 jade for 114 staircases and use them to propel myself down through the skull caverns. It doesn't take long for me to reach floor 100 inside here, which means Mr. Key's order has been completed. You may notice that I have 75 key gems. That's because, to put it simply, the Monster Compendium book in combination with the Burglar Ring and the Monster Musk is absolutely busted. I got 35 gems just from defeating the monsters inside here during the last, I don't know, however long it's been since I accepted the order. I leave the mines after reaching floor 114. I harvest a couple of pineapples, well, a lot of pineapples, and toss them into the shipping bin. There are 85 inside here, which wouldn't be enough to complete the order by themselves. But I harvested a few inside the cave during the last week or so and tossed them into the shipping bin too, so order complete, I guess. I use my key gems to buy 20 magic bait and the crafting recipe for magic bait and the hopper. I take my magic bait, equip it to my rod, and use it to catch the legend. Unsurprisingly, the 2 cork bobbers I'm using make this a fairly easy catch, just like the glacier fish. With the legend taken care of, every single fish in the game has now been caught. William has sent me a star drop on the morning of day 106. This right here is my reward for catching all of the fish. The day gets even better when I read a letter from Caroline. The crafting recipe for the solar panel has been obtained. I unlock foraging and combat mastery, finishing off the whole mastery thing overall. Those were the final 2 I had to get, and I didn't even realize it. I make 5 mystic tree saplings and plant them, sprinkling fertilizer on them as I do. Maya, I think that's Maya anyway, wants me to defeat 30 grubs. Yeah, I can do that. Mr. Key has a new order. The mines in Pelican Town have been overhauled in the same way that the Skull Caverns were. He will give me 50 gems if I can get to floor 120. There is one item that would make this so much easier for me. The Napalm Ring, which I can get by completing the Serpent Eradication goal. I managed to complete this goal just before 11 PM. I skedaddle over to Marlon's place where I obtained this magical ring. I've got like maybe 400 Omni Geodes just lying in a chest, so I decide to trade 280 of them for artifact troves on day 107. I donate a few artifacts to the museum and begin cracking open all of my artifact troves. I'm seeing some brand new items. I assume these are the artifacts Elias wants for the museum in Sunberry Village. I give even more artifacts to Gunther, then I deliver 6 artifacts to Elias. I somehow got all 6 he wanted for part 2 of the museum quest, so that's good. I combine a napalm ring with the iridium band. The other ring I'm using is the lucky ring combined with the burglar ring. I consume a monster musk and I enter floor 1 of the mines. Things go pretty well, very well in fact. I even completed the rock crab goal on floor 11. I won't lie, I began to feel lazy on floor 19, so I may have taken 4 stacks of stone and used them to make 40 staircases. Was this worth it? I don't know. Maybe. I was saving them for crafting recipes and building more sheds and barns on the farm, so yeah, maybe. I don't know, maybe. I'm going to make myself believe it was worth it though. Otherwise I'll get sad, and I don't want that to happen. I pass out on floor 87. Elias has sent me a letter on day 108. He wants me to visit him at the museum so he can give me the final part of his quest. I buy the Queen of Sauce cookbook. I've been waiting so long to get my hands on this, and I return to the mines. I complete the Shadow Person eradication goal on floor 97, which means the only eradication goal I have left is the Magma Sprite one. I make it all the way down to floor 120 before the night is over. The Feast of the Winter Star takes place on day 109. The trend of the Sunberry Village characters having an area to themselves continues at this festival. I've said it before, but I really like that that's a thing. It makes the modded villagers feel like part of the base game as opposed to being like their own separate entity, I suppose. I give a fairy rose to Jazz and receive a jade from Jody. The final birthday of the year is here on day 110. It belongs to none other than Clinton. I send him an emerald and check my kegs. I was not expecting to see 100 bottles of wine inside this chest. Lovely jubbly. I've just remembered Maya wants me to defeat 30 grubs, so I do. Yeah, I knew this would be a nice and easy one, so I'm glad I picked this one up. It's safe to say the mines have been a vital aspect of the last 110 days. Whether it's the Pelican Town mines, or the one in Sunberry Village, or the Skull Caverns, or even the Volcano Dungeon. I feel confident in saying that I've spent like 40 or maybe even 50% of my time inside at least one of those 4 places. After completing Maya's order, I visit Elias and receive the final list of artifacts he wants. I have 3 of these, the jug and 2 of the dwarf keys. So I donate those, leaving me with just dwarf key number 2 and dwarf key number 3 to find. I trade the last of my Omni Geodes for artifact troves on day 111. I crack them all open and I do not receive either one of the dwarf keys I need. That upset me a lot, so I did nothing else for the rest of the day. And here we are on the final day of the first year. Day 112 has arrived. I harvest golden sunberries and toss them into a seed maker. I'm going to try to work towards getting hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of this crop planted next year. I plant moonberries, chop down trees, and make 14 keggy weggies. I regret saying that, I make 14 kegs. After adding them to the keg shed, I sell starfruit wine and visit the hotel here in Sunberry Village. I meet Leanne inside. She is not having a jolly good time right now. She has to paint something for one of her university classes and she is very frustrated because of it. So we decide to go for a walk, which thankfully calms her down. The second cutscene of the day also involves Leanne, but Ophelia is here for this one too. Leanne's parents are coming to visit her, which isn't exactly a big deal by itself. The problem is, her parents are very much under the impression that she's staying at a dorm room in Zuzu City University, which she clearly isn't. Leanne and Ophelia don't really know how to fix this problem right now, but Ophelia is very adamant that she'll think of a solution at some point. The final cutscene of the day involves none other than Spanner. Ophelia stops him and wants to know if he has had anything to eat or drink today. After he says no, she pulls out a sandwich. Before he can grab the sandwich, however, a raccoon comes out of nowhere, grabs the sandwich and runs off with it. If any cutscene had to be the final one of the first year in Sunberry Village, I'm glad it was this one. This was a nice and, I guess, funny one to end the year on, so yeah, we couldn't have done better than this one, I think. With my socializing for the day complete, I buy the farmhouse here in Sunberry Village. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go inside the house and use the farm until tomorrow, so that's a bit of a disappointment, I guess. I decide to spend the remainder of the day in the volcano dungeon. I'm working towards the magma sprite eradication goal because that's the final goal I have left to do in the whole monster eradication goal area. I begin day 113 by showing the garlic to the frog. I mentioned how I hadn't noticed it had grown near the end of winter, so I wanted to correct that little mistake of mine. Mr. Key has 2 orders for me and neither one of them sound appealing in any way, shape or form. I'm gonna go with the Junimo cart one, but I highly doubt I'll get that done. I use my gems to buy 2 crafting recipes, then I speak with Birdie. She gives me an item and I have to trade this item for something else. I will then have to trade each item until I end up with the pirate's locket that she's looking for. Before I do so, there are a couple of things I want to take care of first. I get a walnut from a muscle node, which thankfully is the very last one I needed from these things. I say hello to Kent. I will be seeing you again very soon, I'm sure. I make a Sunberry warp totem and oop, wrong one, there we go, that's better. I buy all of the spring crop seeds along with 50 of the cooking ingredients. So things like sugar, flour, yada yada yada. Maya wants me to bring her materials for another new weapon. I always get really excited when an order like this one pops up. Of course I'm going to do it. Evelyn and Pierre both have orders for me, but neither one of them give a crafting recipe as a reward. So I'm not really too concerned with getting either one of them done, to be quite honest with you all. I give the memento to Kent and receive gourmet tomato salt. Birdie's quest has officially begun. I enter the saloon where a lovely little cutscene plays. Ari is talking to Gustavo about how he finds it difficult to socialize with people. Gus recommends that he spends time with William and Elias, because Elias is Ari's ex-husband. Okay, I thought he was I thought they were still together, so that's a bit of a surprise, I will say. I'm assuming their marriage ended on good terms if they're still friendly with each other though, so that's nice. After giving the tomato salt to Gustavo, I trade the rose he gives me for an advanced TV remote, courtesy of Sandy. George is the lucky recipient of this TV remote, and I take the Arctic shard he gives me over to the wizard. The worm he gives me in return is bestowed upon one Sir William. He then gives me the pirate's locket. This right here is the item that Birdie has been looking for, so I give it to her. I receive 5 golden walnuts and the crafting recipe for fairy dust as a reward. I spend 10 walnuts to unlock the fast travel system here on Ginger Island. That is also the final item I can use my walnuts to buy here on Ginger Island. So if I really wanted to, I could trade my walnuts for key gems in the walnut room, which I will do at some point. I plop a tapper on a mystic tree to begin day 114. Then it's off to Robin's where I ask her to build a pond for me. I'm going to toss a sturgeon into this one, I think. I need to take the roe it produces and turn that into caviar. All of the flower seeds are being sold here in Jumana's shop, well all of the Sunberry flower seeds anyway. I grab them along with the blue jazz and tulip seeds. I have also just realized that I have some Sunberry flowers in a chest, so I'm gonna go ahead and toss one of each of them into the shipping bin just to do a bit more work on the shipping collection. I do something I thought I had done during summer of the first year, but I guess not. I enter Caroline's sunroom where she shows me the tea sapling she's growing inside here. I shall receive the crafting recipe for the tea sapling in the mail tomorrow. I plant all of my flowers and spend the remainder of the day battling magma sprites in the volcano dungeon. The crafting recipe for tea saplings has indeed been received on the morning of day 115. I place a tapper on a pine tree. I've already got a bunch of oak resin and some maple syrup. I just sorta maybe forgot about the whole pine tar thing, which I need for at least one crafting recipe. My bad. After placing tappers on 2 more mystic trees, I spend a bit of time in the mines. My goal here was pretty simple. Gather 30 bat wings so I can make a monster musk. And that is exactly what happens. After making the musk, I complete many a quest and find a snake vertebrae. I'm pretty sure this is the last artifact I need for Professor Snail. I really hope it is anyway. It would be nice to get that whole collection taken care of. Ooh, yeah, it is. Alright, nice. That's one of the more time-consuming, slightly difficult aspects of Ginger Island taken care of. Good stuff. I received the crafting recipe for the ostrich incubator, 3 golden walnuts and a mango tree sapling. I dig up a walnut and an ostrich egg that is going to be tossed into the shipping bin at some point. Now, I could put it into the ostrich incubator and get at least 1 ostrich into the barn that way. But, you know, I'm thinking about it and I don't really need an ostrich, so I think I can go ahead and just toss this into the shipping bin and be fine. I am happy to announce that all of my hard work in the volcano dungeon has finally paid off. The last monster eradication goal has been completed at around 7 PM. The old Joja Mart has been struck by lightning. Interesting. I want to talk about the rest of this season for a moment or two as I begin day 116. In short, this is going to be a preparation season is what I like to call it. I'm going to try to make as much progress as I possibly can on the crafting and cooking recipes. I absolutely will not get all of them crafted and cooked or even find all of the recipes before spring is over, but I would like to get as many of the ingredients as possible. The consequence of this, however, is that you will very likely be seeing a lot less cutscenes for the next, 24 days I think it is? It's going to be tough, and it will require a bit of effort, but it should be worth it in the end. Getting back to the gameplay now, I ask Robin to add another pond to the farm, and I toss a sturgeon into the first one I asked for. I begin throwing ingredients for crafting and cooking recipes into fridges and chests. I might as well begin crafting items as well while I'm here. There's not much point in waiting until I can make them all at the same time. I do the exact same thing with the cooking recipes before heading into the Sunberry mines. I meet Spanner, who is determined to enter the mines by himself. I tell him how dangerous it is inside here, but he says he still wants to go inside. He's adamant that he does. Spanner wants to repay Ophelia and Jong-Yuk for everything they've done for him. He believes that he might find valuable dwarven technology inside this place, and he wants to use that to not just repay Ophelia and Jong-Yuk, but also prove his value to them. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think Ophelia and Jong-Yuk would think it's necessary either. But I can see how important this is to Spanner, so I decide to go with him in order to make sure he's safe inside here. And so off I go. Spanner doesn't seem to be inside here. Or maybe he ran ahead to a floor that's further down. I mean, in any case, I can't see him. I'm assuming I'll run into him again soon though, otherwise what was the point of that cutscene? I fall asleep inside the tent on floor 5. Yeah, I found Spanner pretty soon into day 117. He gives cookies to these, I'm not sure what they are actually. They kind of look like marshmallows. One of the marshmallows wants us to follow him, so let's go ahead and do that, shall we? We follow it down to floor 11 where we get cornered by monsters, oh no! Luckily, Ophelia and Jong-Yuk show up and save us. Spanner tries to explain to them that he's looking for dwarven technology and he's being extremely careful inside here. Ophelia still disapproves of him being inside here though, which is completely fair. It is a very dangerous place. Spanner gets more and more frustrated as the conversation goes on and eventually ends up lashing out. He tells Ophelia that she isn't even his mother, so he just doesn't understand why she cares so much about him. It was a harsh thing to say, but at the same time Ophelia does seem to understand where he's coming from, and more than that understands why he said it. Basically, she understands how important this is to him now. The end result of this whole conversation is Ophelia and Jong-Yuk are now joining us in the mines. Lo and behold, we find a piece of technology that Spanner was so confident he would find inside here. It's a feel-good moment all the way up until the technology decides that it's going to destroy the tunnel we're in. At which point, we run for the hills. We manage to escape thanks to Jong-Yuk breaking a stalactite with his bare hands. That's right, this man right here just punched a boulder. Just as we're about to make it out of there, Spanner falls over. He's glad that we're going to make it out of there, but he's also very understandably upset about being all alone inside here for who knows how long really. All hope seems to be lost until Ophelia grabs his hand, tells him she will never, ever, ever let him be alone ever again, and saves him. This moment right here has made Spanner's storyline a complete 10 out of 10. I wasn't too impressed with him when we first met. I mean, he did try to steal 1,000 gold from me, which isn't exactly the best way to make a good first impression, so I hope you can see where I was coming from in that one. But seeing just how much he's willing to do to repay the people who have helped him, I don't want to say it's inspiring because that feels like too strong of a word, but it is inspiring in a way. He's just a fantastic character now, in my opinion. I think my top 3 characters from the Sunberry Village mod at this point are Elias, Spanner, and Ren. Wait, no, actually, no, I'm changing that. It's Spanner, Ren, and Ophelia. Elias is fantastic as well, don't get me wrong, but Ophelia is just a tiny bit above him in the rankings, I think. I bring 5 topaz to the blacksmith and I drop it off inside Maya's box. I still have to get the ore for 15 iron bars, however. Thankfully, the first floor I enter ends up having a bunch of iron ore, so we're already all good. I grab it all and head back to the farm where I collect the honey that has been produced. I set my furnaces up near my crafting station so I can smelt all of the lovely iron and gold bars I need. From there, it's off to the travelling cart where I buy what I believe is my first rare seed. I plant it in the greenhouse. Maya's order has been completed on day 118. A new weapon should be added to her shop tomorrow. I buy 2 of each fruit tree sapling and I plant them all on Ginger Island. I toss the legend into a pond on the morning of day 119 before buying my second rare seed. This covers the one I need for the star drop and the one I need for the shipping collection. I plant it inside the greenhouse right beside the one I bought 2 days ago. I tried to use the minecart to go to Sunberry Forest, but I cannot, as a festival is being set up there. I play a bit of Junimo kart. I am not exaggerating when I say I violently failed to complete Mr. Key's challenge to get a score of 50,000 or more. It just isn't happening. I break open a good few geodes and donate 1 mineral to the museum. Speaking of the museum, I break open bone nodes at the dig site and I dig up a strange doll at the same place I caught the anglerfish during fall of last year. I pay a visit to the dwarf and I buy a rare crow and a crafting recipe, then the game notifies me that the Water Lantern Festival has begun. I head to the forest in Sunberry Village where all of the villagers have gathered. I speak with Jong-hyuk and he mentions that this wouldn't have been possible without me. I don't know what he's talking. Oh wait, no. Okay, a few weeks ago, at some point during the first year anyway, I delivered cloth, torches and hardwood to his house, and at the time I didn't receive a reward for it. I think this is the reward, this entire festival right here. This is something that he never got to experience until now, so he's grateful for me helping him to do this. This feels like the end of a storyline cutscene. There's probably going to be more events involving Jong-hyuk, but I'm gonna assume this is like the big finale type of cutscene. This was nice, I really enjoyed this one, it was lovely. I begin day 120 by making crab cakes. I've got a few tea saplings, so I plant those. I think I bought these from Ari in his shop. They were like the item of the day. Yeah, it turns out there's an item of the day inside that shop, by the way. I wish I knew that sooner. I spend a bit of time in the mines before checking out the new weapon Maya is selling, Dawn's Battle Axe. It does around the same amount of damage as my current weapon, so I feel like if I was to enchant it with rubies, it would be even better. Having said that, I'm not going to buy it right now because I would be completely broke if I did. Maya wants me to get the materials she needs for yet another weapon. 5 rubies, 10 void essence, 10 bat wings, and 15 iron bars. I gather all of the void essence and then all of the bat wings. Following that, I decide to go into the Sunberry mines as the rubies should be a lot easier to obtain inside here. I get all 5 without needing to go past floor 2, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I drop everything off and that's when I realize I need 15 iron bars too. Yeah, I didn't see that part when I accepted the order a while ago. I'm gonna go get the iron ore for them. The 15 iron bars have been smelted and collected on day 121. And mystic syrup has been produced too. I drop the bars off, completing the order for real this time. Then I spend the remainder of the day in the Sunberry mines. I buy mega bombs from the dwarf on day 122. I then do something that has become somewhat of a trend during this playthrough. I head into the blacksmith and I check out the new weapon that Maya has made, the Baleful Blade. Again, it looks very cool, but I cannot afford it right now, so I'm gonna have to leave it for a while at least. I spend the remainder of the day inside the Skull Caverinos. I accepted an order from Robin to collect 1,000 pieces of stone, so I want to get that one finished by the end of today. Robin has sent me the crafting recipe for the stone chest on the morning of day 123. That is the reward for completing the order she gave me, which is why I really wanted to get it done. I buy the crafting recipe for the big stone chest from the dwarf. This is only being sold because I completed Robin's order, which again is just a testament to how important that order was. I harvest a bunch of flowers and crops on Ginger Island. Mr. Key has given me the challenge of finding key beans, using them to grow key fruit and shipping 100 million of that fruit. I misread the script. It's not 100 million, it's 500. I tried to save it, but I couldn't. I messed up. The reward of 100 key gems is way too good to pass up, despite how much time and effort this challenge tends to take me. I spend the day chopping down trees, as that is a good way to get key beans in my experience. All of my key beans have been planted on the morning of day 124. I also make hyperspeed grow and sprinkle it on top of the key beans. I'm not messing around here, I really want to complete this order. Those 100 key gems would be so useful. I sell a ton of crappy whoppies and forage items to Mr. Pierre the Platypus in order to revive my bank account. The very first thing I buy with my newfound fortune is the crafting recipe for the grass starter. I grab the recipe for the dehydrator too, as I know for a fact I'll forget all about that one if I leave the shop without it today. I make a lucky lunch and a couple of treasure totems. I've only just remembered that these can be busted when it comes to getting key beans. Case in point, I got 19 of them from a single totem. I used the second totem to bring me up to 21 key beans. Okay, that wasn't as good. I only got 2 beans that time, but still, 19 on the first one is beautiful. Day 125 is the day of the egg festival. I buy a few strawberries and then I do not win the egg hunt. It doesn't seem right to win it 2 years in a row. I was curious as to whether a villager from Sunberry Village would win it, but no, it was Abigail. That's to be expected, I suppose. I plant strawberries in the greenhouse before the night is over. Ezra and Haley have received wonderful items on day 126, as it is their birthdays. Assuming I don't miss any birthdays, I should reach maximum friendship with everybody in the game before the year comes to an end, which would be very nice. Parsnips and key fruit have been harvested. I toss the key fruit into a seed maker immediately upon getting them. I make more treasure totems and a lot more seed makers. I want to speed up the entire process of getting key beans as much as I can. I plant over 90 of them, which should result in me getting around 200 key beans when I toss them into a seed maker. I use a totem to get even more beans. Kale and potatoes have been harvested on day 127. I place a battery pack into the box in the tunnel, followed by a rainbow shell into the box at the train tracks. Then 10 beets are placed into Lewis's fridge. Those are the first 3 steps in the 4-part plan to unlock the casino in the desert. Unfortunately, I can't do the final step because the desert festival is taking place today, and tomorrow, and the next day. I have to wait until day 130 to unlock the casino. Day 128 is a very basic day. I harvest key fruit, toss them into a seed maker, and plant key beans. I collect mystic syrup on day 129 and I use it to make, that's right, more totems. I send an iridium quality fiddlehead fern to Ripley for her birthday, plant key beans, and dig up even more key beans. The banana tree has started producing bananas. I take one into the jungle and I trade it for 3 golden walnuts. All 130 walnuts have been collected. The day ends in the same way it has for the last couple of days. I plant key beans. I harvest key fruit and toss them into seed makers on day 130. I make fiber seeds and use a totem to get to the desert nice and early. I place a solar essence into the skeleton here, and that is the final step completed. After buying rhubarb seeds, I plant them along with key beans and fiber seeds. Sturgeon roe has been produced on day 130. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this into a preserves jar in order to make caviar. The first of the 2 sweet gem berries has grown, so I grabbed that. I plant more key beans, my apologies for how repetitive things have gotten since I accepted Mr. Key's order, and I trade the sweet gem berry for a star drop. I harvest over 300 key fruit on day 132. I decide to wait until around 400 key beans have been produced by the seed makers before grabbing those along with the 100-ish remaining key fruit. I plant all of the beans, toss the fruit into the shipping bin, and harvest the second sweet gem berry. I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record right now, but on day 133 I do the following things. I harvest key fruit, turn some of them into seeds just to be safe, and toss 87 or so fruit into the shipping bin. It is my pleasure to announce on day 134 that I should get Mr. Key's challenge finished tonight. So there will be no more key fruit and key beans for the rest of the playthrough. Hopefully, anyway. I'd be very surprised if there was. I toss over 400 key fruit into the shipping bin. I accept an order from Demetrius. He wants me to catch a largemouth bass. Not just one of them, but 10 of them. Blake also has an order for me. He and Leanne want to do a bit of a science experiment, and they need 50 bug meat and 50 slime for it. You know what, I'll help them out here. I know I said during winter that I was a bit iffy when it comes to the 2 of these people, but they seem like decent enough people now that I really think about it. They haven't done anything to sort of make me think that. They're not iffy at all. They're good people. The third order of the week comes from one Mr. Key. Family members of the legendary fish have come to Pelican Town, and I have to catch all 5 of them. I will not be getting this one done. I don't know why I accepted it. I trade my walnuts for key gems, and I buy magic bait. Oh, I did not mean to do that. And key seasoning. There we go. That's what I meant to buy. I make a gold star seafoam pudding, and I teleport up to the mountains using a warp totem. I spend a bit of time working on Demetrius's order up here. I'm using challenge bait, which gives me a chance to get 3 of any fish I hook. As soon as the time hits 7 PM, I leave the mountains and enter the mines instead to work on getting bat wings so I can make a monster musk. The reason why I left the mountains is because largemouth bass no longer spawn after 7 PM, so there's not really any point in continuing to fish up there at that point. I have all the slime I need along with around half of the bug meat before the day comes to an end. The rest of the bug meat I need has been obtained on the morning of day 135. I deliver both items to Blake. I used the gems I received for doing the key fruit order to buy the heavy tapper recipe and Pierre's missing stock list. Then, in absolutely heartbreaking news, I realize I never got the bluegrass starter crafting recipe. It costs 40 gems, so I can't even buy it right now. I wasted my money. I wish I had spotted that before buying the stock list. I tried to give the stock list to Ari, but he has no idea what to do with it. Alas, I must give it to Pierre. The good news, however, is I can now buy the seeds for any crop, regardless of the season I'm in. I buy 25 of each one. I sell pineapples and a few other things to recoup some of the money I spent. Then I spend that money on the luck speed grow. I plant as many of my new seeds as I can on Ginger Island, but space is a bit limited right now, so I couldn't get them all planted. Or even a lot of them planted. Blake and Leanne have sent me a letter on day 136. They want me to come to Sunberry Village so I can see the results of their science experiment. At this point, I'm willing to admit, like straight up, I'm willing to admit that I was wrong about these 2. Just completely wrong. They seem alright. I head into Sunberry Village, walk towards Ari's shop, and oh dear. I wasn't wrong about them after all. Okay, if this is going the way I think it is, then yeah, I wasn't wrong about them. They have a bucket full of what I can only assume is slime and bug meat. It's pretty obvious that they were fully intending on pouring it on top of me, but they ended up pouring it on top of Ari instead by accident. I should have trusted my instinct on this one. I knew there was something off about them. I'm especially annoyed that it landed on Ari of all people. He has been nothing but so kind to me ever since day 1. And, as if that wasn't enough, he also has lower prices than the other shop. I'm fuming right now on behalf of Ari. I go inside his shop to check on him, and he just tells me not to worry about it. Yeah, no, this is kind of a big deal, Ari. Like, actual monster parts were just poured on top of you. That's not a prank. I find Blake in his room, and he says that I've probably guessed that the slime prank, and I use that term very loosely, was intended for me, not Ari. It's all good though, because he's going to be stuck in this house for the next week or two, so he's learned his lesson. Yeah, listen closely, Blake. It's not all good. It's not even close to being all good. I would have considered letting this slide, but you didn't even apologize to me. And you know what? If at some point you do decide to apologize, you better say it to Yoba. Ask Yoba for forgiveness, because I'm not going to forgive you for what you did. I'm gonna move on to a different topic now. I got too much into character there. I spend the rest of the day fishing. I have received the crafting recipe for the computer on day 137, and I've harvested green beans. Yay! I buy the fish smoker crafting recipe from William, and that is all for today. I spend day 138 and day 139 harvesting crappie whoppies. One thing I will say about the Blake and Leanne situation is it was done well enough for me to feel something. Like, it didn't happen and I just kind of went, oh, okay, whatever, let's just move on to the next cutscene or the next thing to do. No, it made me feel emotions. Negative emotions, but still emotions. That is good writing right there, so fair play to the creators of the Sunberry Village mod for that one. You got me. You got me good. And here we are on day 140. If I'm not mistaken, I have all the crops I need for the cooking recipes. I don't need to plant anything else, so I can safely plant golden sunberries and ancient fruit here on Ginger Island without worrying about missing anything in the future. I make the following dishes: rhubarb pie, blueberry tart, red plate, super meal, coleslaw, artichoke dip, fruit salad, fish taco, banana pudding, and stuffing. In terms of crafting, I have just made a heavy tapper, a crab pot, and a fish smoker. I was going to plant a mango tree sapling inside the cave here when I saw that I already have one inside here, and it has 3 mangoes ready to collect. I make another dish before paying a visit to Evelyn. She has made cookies and offers me one. I tell her they taste delicious and she gives me the cooking recipe for cookies. I make those too. I sell some things as I need money for my next Planarino. I head into the casino where, oh no I don't, 1 second, there we are, now I enter the casino. I buy 2,000 coins and after a few games of Calico Jack, I walk away with 20,000 coins. I buy the last rare crow and 10 farm warp totems. I take a look at the perfection tracker inside the walnut room. 71%, not too shabby. As long as no curveballs are thrown my way, I should get 100% completion by the end of day 224. I feel like I just jinxed it. I may regret saying that in the future. I'm nervous now. I suppose there's really only one way to find out. Let's go. Day 141 begins with some very good news. I have received the crafting recipe for the deluxe scarecrow. I've decided to get rid of most of the crops growing here on Ginger Island, on account of me not really needing them anymore. I'm planting ancient seeds right now, but I would like to have, we'll say, around 500 golden sunberries growing here in the future. Deluxe speed grow will of course be sprinkled on all of the seeds I plant. Mr. Key wants me to bring him 100 each of different colored items. It takes a while, but I get most of it done. Thankfully, not much time passed in the game while I was doing this. Time is paused when you're in a menu, and the Chest Anywhere mod thankfully is included in that. There's still many minutes left in day 141. I buy 100 pieces of copper ore from Clinton. These shall be used to complete the orange item requirement for Mr. Key's order. I purchase the final crafting recipe I can get inside this room. Aisha has sent me flower seeds on the morning of day 142. Thank you, Aisha. And Sterling has sent me a cooking recipe. I now know how to make the berry parfait. The key to the town is putting in absolute work right now. I got this item inside Mr. Key's room some time ago, and it lets me enter any building in town regardless of the time. It is neat. I use it to sell a few items to Mr. Pierre before the shop even opens. Then I head over to Clinton and sell a few items to him as well. I crack open a few artifact troves and I get one of the dwarf keys that Elias wants. Ren is once again asking me to bring her materials so she can improve her garden. This time I can actually do this order, so it shall be done. I donate the dwarf key and I do not buy the speedwell flower seeds that Ren wants. Not to worry, however, I can simply take some of the speedwell flowers I've already thrown into a chest and toss them into a seed maker. I buy a cherry sapling, collect the speedwell seeds, buy starfruit from Sandy over in the desert, and drop everything off at Ren's house. Here is a look at Ren's new garden as I begin day 143. It looks absolutely sterling. Not like the character sterling, but it looks magnificent is what I'm trying to say. Over in the desert, I grab some artifact troves and the Void Ghost pendant. When I break open the troves, I get the prehistoric tool, and yeah, that's about it. I was hoping to get the chicken statue too. That one might be a bit of a pain to get my hands on. After donating the prehistoric tool, I give the Void Ghost pendant to Krobus. I make 7 treasure totems and break open the bone nodes at the dig site on Ginger Island. I was hoping to get at least one new artifact from them, but I did not. Let's try again? Nope. I use a totem up in the mountains and it's the same story here, unfortunately. I don't get anything I can donate. Maybe if I do it outside Robin's house? Nope. Oh well, that's okay. I'm not really in too much of a rush to get the museum collection completed anytime soon, so it's all good. That being said, I do crack open the artifact troves I got. In familiar yet still upsetting news, I do not get an artifact. I use a totem at the beach and let's just move on to tomorrow. I have been sent a summer pink lemonade on day 144. Not the cooking recipe for it though, no, just the drink itself. That's a bit of a shame. I go through the mine system in the quarry. One of the haunted skulls I defeated dropped the skeletal hand artifact. Nice, I will take that, thank you very much. I'm gonna come back here a few more times during the next, few days, maybe weeks. I can get the prehistoric skull from that same enemy, so I would very much like to do that. I harvest coffee beans on day 145, quite a few of them in fact. I make the deluxe scarecrow before popping over to the home of me young and Silas. The wizard sort of spawns in and demands that Silas give him back the book he borrowed. Silas hasn't finished the book though, so he sort of refuses to give it back. He just won't do it. This was a funny cutscene, I enjoyed this one. Harvey is helping Jong-hyuk after that whole kerfuffle in the mines with Spanner and Ophelia. Jong-hyuk says he will always feel a bit guilty when it comes to Spanner. You see, Spanner reminds him of himself. Too much of himself. Jong-hyuk also thinks that he's not as good of a person as Spanner thinks he is. I'm seeing a much different side of him here. It's very, very clear to me how much he cares about Spanner. He admires that Spanner wants to make the world a better place, mainly so the world would be nicer to, well, everybody. It sounds like he took care of Spanner and acted as a bit of a big brother, I would say, to Spanner while he lived in Zuzu City with him. He feels guilty knowing that Spanner thought he abandoned him when he moved to Sunberry Village. I love character development, and that is exactly what I'm seeing here. This is fantastic. Ripley needs my help as one of her cows has escaped. I got this. Oop, no, that was the wrong choice. Alright, let me try again. Oof, okay, nope, that was also the wrong choice. I can do this though. One moment please. There we go, that's how it's done. Admittedly, that was the only choice I had left, but I mean, still, it's a victory all the same. I've got some coffee lying in a chest, so I yoinked those, and that is it for today. I have been sent the cooking recipe for the owl rice crisp dish on day 146. That is a tongue twister for me, I struggle through that sentence. I will happily take any and all recipes I get at this point. The green rain has returned for the second time in this entire playthrough so far, so I'm gonna take full advantage of that and spend the remainder of the day collecting fiber and moss. I give a Stardrop tea and a pumpkin to Krobus on day 147 before making the farm computer and the Statue of Blessings. It is cutscene time now as I head into the cat cafe. Ray has teleported into Diala and Daria's kitchen because she is hungry. Honestly, if I could teleport, I would do the exact same thing. I would also use that ability to get some tasty food. I would be eating a delicious bowl of ramen every single day with spring onion and red onion and pepper. Oh, the jalapenos. Gotta have jalapenos in them. Oh, I want ramen now. Jong-hyuk, Ren, and Aisha have decided to form a book club. That is not a sentence I ever thought I would say, but it makes sense if you think about it. The three of those people, well, two of those people and one demon being friends, it just seems right. Basically what I'm trying to say here is all three of them are very, very cool characters, and I'm glad that they're bonding over books. Here is a look at the house I bought on the final day of winter. Truth be told, I don't think I'm going to do anything with this place. I already have my hands full with the main farm and the one over in Ginger Island. Diala and Daria are making muffins in the kitchen. Well, no, actually, Diala is making the muffins, and Daria is just getting more and more hungry and excited to eat them. Now that I think about it, I've very much been operating under the assumption that Diala and Daria are sisters, but I've realized that the only reason I think that is because they remind me of Haley and Emily. As far as I know, it has never actually been said that they're sisters, so I'm beginning to think that they aren't. I think they might just be very good friends. And with that being said, I'm going to make a prediction. Diala and Daria are going to end up being in a relationship together when all is said and done. I truly do feel like that's what this whole thing is building up to. I think that's going to be the conclusion to both of their storylines. Moon has stolen a coconut from Diala, and I have just been given a very difficult choice to make. Do I allow Moon to keep the coconut, or do I tell Moon to give the coconut back to Diala? I think about it for a couple of seconds, but truth be told, I already knew the answer as soon as I was given the choice. I ask Moon to give the coconut back to its rightful owner. The cutscenes continue as Diala has found an old potion. She drinks it and she can see Moon. Oh, okay, this might not turn out very well. Actually, no, it's Diala. If anything, based on everything I've seen, she's going to be happy to see Moon, I think. After the initial shock of seeing a Junimo wears off, that is. Daria then drinks the potion and she too can see Moon. Moon explains how she was supposed to leave with the other Junimos, I'm assuming when the community center was fixed. But she decided to stay. Diala says she would love to teach Moon all about astrology, properly now because she can see Moon and talk to her. It is time for yet another cutscene. This one features Lani. Please, please, please give her some character development. I need a reason to get invested in her character after that whole... I don't know how to describe it. That whole thing with Peary the platypus, you know that cutscene? She shows me her old sketchbook where she used to draw all these different characters. She wanted to design an official Pocketmon, so she went to art school hoping it would help her get started on that journey. It did not. She spent years practicing and improving her art skills in the hopes of becoming a video game artist, and it just didn't work out. She became burnt out and hasn't drawn anything since art school. Now she's just waiting, hoping to find that spark again. This is good. This is what Lani needed, in my opinion. Not what she actually said about losing her spark or anything like that. I mean, she needed one good cutscene. Now I'm invested in her backstory. I'm actually looking forward to learning more about her, which I didn't think I would say after the whole Pierre situation. I take a break from socializing to fill my Ginger Island farm with ancient fruit and sunberry seeds. Golden sunberry seeds, that is. I receive a phone call when I go back to the Pelican Town farm, which is odd because I don't own a phone. Lani wants to know if I ever saw myself becoming a farmer, before I moved here that is. I tell her all about how I used to work for Joja and the letter from my grandfather and how I ended up here basically. The conversation seems to have given Lani just a tiny motivational boost to get back into doing art. I make the berry parfait, owl rice crisp and cranberry candy dishes before heading over to Sunberry Village. Oh wait just a moment, the chest I placed here has moved down a few spots. There we go, that's better. Leanne and Blake are having what sounds like a rather serious conversation. Blake is considering doing something. I assume it's like a job or a hobby or something like that. But he isn't sure if it's the right choice. Leanne is doing her best to convince him that everything is going to be fine and his fathers will support him no matter what he does. I, on the other hand, am trying to forget about the whole thing where they dumped a bucket of slime and monster guts on Ari. It's difficult, especially as they didn't really apologize for it. They did the whole, oh yeah, I guess I maybe did a bad thing, sorry, we're good now though, right? I've apologized, so everything is magically better, right? I hope I'm not showing too many cutscenes today, by the way. I really didn't plan on this happening, it just kinda happened. Lani has started drawing again, which is brilliant news. She did that very quickly, actually, now that I think about it. The unfortunate news is Lani is experiencing what I think might be imposter syndrome. She has set her standards so high that anytime she draws something, she just isn't happy with it. And it's upsetting her because all she wants to do is to find that spark again. It's at the point where she gets angry and frustrated when she draws simply because she isn't meeting her own expectations. I recommend that she try something other than drawing. And she says maybe, so let's hope for the best. Jong-hyuk is letting Lani use his punching bag. It's a bit of a way of relieving stress for her right now. She's letting out all of the negative emotions that she talked about. Elias is making fried rice. I taste a spoonful of it and it is marvelous stuff altogether. I meet Elias inside the abandoned farmhouse just south of the shop owned by Ari. This place has seen better days. It's not in the best shape, and that's putting it very lightly. I encourage Elias to fix this place up and perhaps even move in here again, presumably with Ari and maybe Blake and Lien as well. The final cutscene of the day features none other than Moon. I lift her up so she can look through the telescope and she is flabbergasted in the best way possible at what she sees. Moon appreciates me helping her out. I may have lied about that being the final cutscene of the day. My apologies. I return to the farm where I meet Spanner. We take a walk to this place. Immediately, I feel fully confident in saying that I absolutely love it here. It is beautiful. Spanner has been thinking a lot lately. He's beginning to believe that every single life has meaning and that it's okay to just be alive. Yeah, that's very true. It's okay to just live. You don't need to constantly be doing things or accomplishing something. You're allowed to just be here. That's fine. Spanner goes on to talk about how he never knew his biological parents, and if it wasn't for Jong-hyuk, he would never have had anybody. He would always have been alone. Ophelia, Jong-hyuk, and Ren have slowly but surely been teaching Spanner to believe in himself and to accept that he has value. Before we leave and before the day comes to an end, Spanner tells me that his real name is Raymond. I think Raymond's storyline has just come to an end. And that was perfect. Beautifully written. I really enjoyed that character arc. That's one of the best ones, if not the best character arc I've seen in this game, overall. Elias has sent me a letter on day 148. He has contacted Robin and she'll be taking a look at the old house he lived in. Hopefully she'll be able to fix it for him. Lani has also sent me a letter. That conversation we had on the phone where I explained my journey to her about becoming a farmer, it has encouraged her to start making art again. And she is making a conscious effort to not be perfect or to aim for perfection. That's good. That's very good. I like what I'm seeing here. I make bluegrass starter, which happens to be the last item I needed to craft, so that whole area is out of the way. That's done and dusted now. I decide to spend a day in the Sunberry mines. Day 149 is spent inside these mines too. My main priority is getting gems. I've kept everything I got inside here yesterday, and I'm going to keep everything I get today and maybe the next couple of days too. Then I'll sell them all at the same time to get a ton of money, which means day 150 is also spent inside here. I harvest starfruit on the morning of day 151. I wanted to sell them to Ari, but I can't. I can't even access his shop. I don't know why this is happening, but I mean, look. At least it's happening now when I don't need to buy any crops anymore. After tossing the starfruit into the kegs, I spend the rest of the day inside the mines. I begin day 152 by taking all of the gems I've gathered during the last few days and tossing them into the shipping bin. I've got a nice collection of golden sunberry seeds ready to plant. Boy, am I glad to see those. I run into Diala at the beach where she is pondering. She feels like her friendship with Daria is incomplete, like it's missing something. And it has felt that way ever since they broke up in high school. Look at that, okay, it looks like I might have been... Yeah, I was correct. The cutscene ends with me wondering if Daria feels the same way about Diala. I hope I don't have to wait too long to find out. I really want to see what happens here. Ren bumps into Sebastian up in the mountains. She was on her way to set cherry bombs off in the quarry when she came across him, so it was very unexpected. This wasn't planned. Sebastian goes on to mention that Demetrius has been bugging him a lot more lately. Like a lot more. And he thinks that whatever Ren said to Demetrius really got to him. Oh, did I miss a cutscene? It sounds like I did. I'm assuming Ren told Demetrius that she is Sebastian's parent and she used to be married to Robin? I can't believe I missed that. Sebastian says he would like to get the chance to meet his other biological parent. With absolutely zero sugarcoating from Ren, she just comes out and says that she is in fact Sebastian's other biological parent. She gives him the rundown of what happened. She talks about everything she went through, how she was feeling, the choices she made, and why she made those choices. Sebastian seems to take the news pretty well, and accepts Ren's reasons for leaving. They spend a while bonding, basically, and really getting to know each other. One thing they really talk about is the qualities that Sebastian might share with Ren, you know, the ones that he might have inherited from her. The cutscene ends with Ren inviting Sebastian to join her in the quarry. I feel like we're coming to the end of Ren's storyline. And, you know, I've talked extensively at this point about how much I really do like the character of Ren, so I'm not going to ramble too much here about her. I will simply leave it at this. Ren is easily a 10 out of 10 character. It has been an absolute pleasure to learn all about her. I plant golden sunberries and ancient fruit and add even more kegs to the keg shed. Then I visit Robin and Elias. The good news is Robin will be able to fix this house. The bad news is that it's going to require a lot of materials in order to do so. I was fully expecting to receive a quest here to get hundreds of wood and stone and iron bars and, you know, things like that. But that didn't happen, which was a very pleasant surprise. In fact, I can't remember, like outside of special orders, I can't remember having to do a fetch quest, you know, where I have to gather items and then give them to someone so they'll do something. I appreciate this mod doing that. I really do. I'm not a fan of those, like missions where you have to find items and bring them to someone. Truthfully, I think they're overdone in Stardew Valley. There's too many of them. There just is. Oh, you want me to repair the minecart system? Go get these items. Oh, you want to go to this area? Go get these items. You want to do this? Go get these items. You want to do that? Go get these items over and over and over again. Every single time somebody wants something, it's like, hey, I'll do this nice thing for you if you get me hundreds of this material. I didn't realize how much I wasn't fond of that type of thing until right now that I'm saying all of this. I've gone completely off the script with this. This is like my genuine thoughts on this. I hate that type of thing. I really do, and I'm only just realizing it. So, thank you to the creators of the Sunberry Village mod for not putting me through that. I really do appreciate it. Moon isn't sure if she made the right choice when she stayed here instead of going back home with the other Junimos. She's worried that she will never become an astrologer. I tell Moon in the nicest way possible that that is nonsense and she needs to believe in herself. She can do it. Another Moon cutscene is on the horizon, this one taking place in the back garden of Robin's house. Moon used to live here before moving into Diala and Duria's house. She would wait until it was nighttime and look up at the beautiful sky above her. She loved it here, but she prefers her current home because she's learning a lot from Diala and Duria. I reckon another character's story has come to an end with this. I feel like Moon's storyline is almost done. I make over 350,000 gold from the gems I tossed into the shipping bin. I receive a star drop from Krobus on day 153. There is only one star drop remaining, and all I have to do is complete the museum collection if I want to get it. Duria and Diala are here. Moon told them about the conversation she had with me yesterday, and they're very grateful for the way I encouraged Moon to believe in herself and continue learning about astrology. I trade a ticket for a star drop tea and break some bone nodes at the dig site. No artifact. I break open artifact troves. Once again, no artifact. I donate the skeletal hand I found in the quarry mines, then I go to the quarry mines. For the third time today, no artifact. Day 154 is here and I am going to sleep. I collect mystic syrup on day 155 and use it to make even more treasure totems. I am happy to report that the chicken statue has been obtained. That's not all, however, as the prehistoric scapula has also been added to my inventory. Can I go 3 for 3 and get the prehistoric skull as well? No, I can't, but that's okay because 2 out of 3 is not bad at all. I donate both of the artifacts to the museum. Leo has sent me a cooking recipe on day 156. I make the dish and plant golden sunberries. I've reached a point where I don't have many things to talk about on a daily basis, so I'm going to condense the remainder of the second year down into one segment. Here is what happened from right now all the way up until day 224. I continue harvesting starfruit and golden sunberries, tossing them into seed makers and turning them into wine. Daria makes a cake for Diala with some help from Gustavo. It is during this cutscene that Daria reveals exactly how she feels about Diala. She explains how she feels very nervous about making this cake. She doesn't know why, but she just does. Gus mumbles something in response. Daria then says that she totally isn't in love with Diala, to which Gus simply says, "Seriously?" And there we go. Diala's feelings for Daria are indeed requited. I think I'm getting a bit emotional right now. This is beautiful. All of the villagers have gathered here inside Elias's brand new old house. Ari was a little mad at Elias for not asking for help. He quickly changes his mind when Elias says that he'll cook a lovely dinner for him tonight to make it up to him. Maya sees her opportunity and says that she is also mad at Elias, and so he should maybe make dinner for her too. You gotta respect the hustle right here. I would do the same thing. No, I wouldn't. I'm lying. But still, that's pretty funny. I give a gold star lava eel and a star drop tea to the dwarf, maxing out their friendship. I have to get 1 or 2 more hearts with a couple of villagers and 7 more with Sandy, which I will be able to do with a gift and a star drop tea on her birthday, which I think takes place on the 15th day of fall. Oh, and I have to get 6 or 7 hearts with Leo as well. I almost forgot about him. I use a treasure totem and finally get the prehistoric skull. I bring it to Gunther, completing the collection and earning the 7th and final star drop. Diala tells Daria that she needs to tell her something. It's happening. Daria tells Diala that she needs to tell her something too. It's happening. Diala gets nervous and can't quite get the words out. All hope is not lost, however, as Diala has access to a wonderful piece of technology that can help her here. She uses her phone to text Diala with what she wants to say. Daria then announces to everybody in the immediate vicinity that Diala loves her. The two embrace, so it's safe to say that they both feel the same way, but we already knew that, didn't we? As always with the culmination of a character arc in this mod, that was beautiful. I give a gold star dish and a star drop tea to Leo, maxing out his friendship. He sends me a cooking recipe. Nice. I sell Starford wine to Pierre and I buy the island obelisk. Sterling tells me about the people he used to hang out with in Zuzu City. Looking back on it, he can tell now that they were encouraging his addictions, basically, and they were an extremely negative influence on him. Once he removed himself from that group, he discovered that he had the strength to become sober and avoid everything except drinking. He received a token in the past for being sober for 24 hours. He still has it, and he's decided to give it to me. I take it, but purely with the intention of keeping it safe and then giving it back to him if he ever doubts himself in the future. You've got this, Sterling. Never forget how far you've come and how much better you feel since those days in the city. You can do this. I believe in you. I know you can. Robin has been teaching Lanny how to do woodworking, and Sebastian has decided to join in. You know what? Fair play to Lanny. I have done a complete 180 on her character. I went from not really liking her too much because of the whole Pierre thing, to actively rooting for her and hoping she finds that spark again. The creator of that mod and her character did an amazing job here. They didn't just make a character that I've liked from the very beginning, they went a step further. They completely changed my mind on this character through these cutscenes. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again, that is good writing. Sterling and Pierre are having an intense argument inside the shop. I should have mentioned, Sterling works for Pierre inside here. It's so serious that it gets to the point where Pierre fires Sterling. He calls him a punk and says he's on something. Oh, Sterling. Sterling quickly goes from being furious to being tired. Emotionally tired, I mean. He apologizes for arguing and screaming and says that Shane gave him something to take the edge off. He took it because he thought it would help him calm down, but it just made him feel 1,000 times worse. I don't want to say it's Shane's fault that this is happening, but I don't know, I guess you just need to be more careful. Whatever he said to Sterling and whatever he gave him, I wish Shane had just taken a moment to ask himself if this is really a good idea to do. Pierre says he doesn't want Sterling to be sober because it makes him less of a burden. He wants Sterling to be sober because he seems genuinely happy when he is. Pierre has only seen Sterling be this happy, as happy as he is while he's sober, when he was a kid. Henry and Mia come into the shop to take Sterling home. They make sure to tell Sterling that they're his family, and he will always have a home with them. That they know that progress isn't a straight line, and that's okay. They understand it, and they accept him, and they love him, and they want to help him. Pierre also says that Sterling isn't actually fired, he didn't mean it. All he really wants is to teach Sterling some manners and responsibility. In fact, he's actually proud of Sterling and all of the effort that Sterling has put in since coming to Pelican Town to get better. The only thing growing on the Ginger Island farm now is golden sunberries. I just wanted to let you all know it's not actually important. I give a Stardrop tea and a sweet pea to Sandy on her birthday to max out her friendship, and that is all of the friendships taken care of. The recipe for Tomka soup has been acquired and I have earned over 2 million gold. I buy the earth, water and desert obelisks. The next goal is to reach 10 million gold so I can get the golden clock. I buy a gold star mango wine and the tropical curry cooking recipe, and I complete the final bundle in the abandoned Georgia Mart. The Junimo that was stuck inside here can finally go home. Sterling enters the shop and apologizes to Pierre for everything that happened during the argument they had. When Sterling first came to town, Pierre was the first person to give him a chance. He gave him a job when nobody else would. And so Sterling would completely understand if Pierre decided he didn't want to have him work here anymore. But Pierre is having none of that. He makes it crystal clear that he wants Sterling to come back to work, that he still has a place here. Pierre then apologizes to Sterling for the part he played in the argument. He even says that he would be a fortunate man if he had even an ounce of the resilience that Sterling has. I join Mia, Henry and Sterling for dinner. Before we eat, I talk to Sterling as he has something on his mind. Shane has been asking him to hang out, but Sterling doesn't feel comfortable with it. He feels like he ends up drinking every single time they spend time together. And he's realized that the only reason he was able to stop using the things he used in the past was because he stopped hanging out with the people that also did those same things. He feels like that's what he has to do here. If he wants to stop drinking, he has to pull away from Shane. It's not that he wants to, and at the same time he thinks Shane is an amazing person, but he also feels like they don't know how to be friends without drink being involved in the situation. He's made up his mind that he's going to stop interacting with Shane, and I feel like this is the right moment to give him back the token he gave me. Sterling says he's going to continue to do his best to earn this token every single day. During the dinner, Mia comments how it's raining very hard outside. Sterling goes to close the window, and as he does so, he says, "It's always raining in the valley, isn't it?" The name of the mod that brings Sterling, Henry, and Mia to town is Always Raining in the Valley. So that's the joke here. That's the pun that Sterling has made. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm a big fan of puns in general, so well done, Sterling. That was good. The credits for the mod begin playing. Sterling's story has come to an end. He sends me the cooking recipe for the kitty muffin, so I make that. A trip to the walnut room and a peek at the perfection tracker reveals that I've completed 89% of the game. I have to ship 3 more items, buy the golden clock, and cook 1 more dish. The last item in the shipping collection I'm assuming is either a flower or a forage item. It looks like one of those two things anyway. The 2 items on the top row look a bit like a bottle of truffle oil, so I think they both might be I'm lying. I know they're both bottles. They're soju. I read about it when I was downloading the Lani mod. I spoiled it for myself, but I mean, at least I know how to get them. Lani will give me a special order during spring to make soju, so I just have to keep an eye out for that one. As for the cooking recipe, I will be completely honest and say I looked into that one too. I can't get it. It's from the Always Raining in the Valley mod, specifically tied to Mia, but you can't actually get the recipe. At least from what I read, it seems like you can't get the recipe anyway, so I might have to figure out a way around that. That might become an issue. Now that winter has arrived and golden sunberries can't grow, it is time to start working on the farm. This will be my main priority until day 224, as I can't really do anything else other than harvest golden sunberries. Oh, wait, scratch that, I spoke too soon. I found one of the items I still have to ship, the Carmine Blossom. I found it in the forest here in Sunberry Village. Now I can focus exclusively on the farm and making wine from the golden sunberries. And so here we are on day 224. I'm just about done decorating the farm, but I'm going to wait until the end of the playthrough to put a picture of it up on the screen. That way you can see the true final product. I toss all sorts of bits and bobs into the shipping bin, including golden sunberries, ancient fruit, wine, and animal products. I earn over 5.5 million gold for all of the items I tossed inside this shipping bin. That is a wonderful way to begin year 3. Day 225 begins with a special order. Not from Lani unfortunately, but this one seems interesting. Aisha wants me to gather tulips, fiber and iron bars and then give them to Maya so she can make a new weapon for Aisha. Granted, Maya won't know that the weapon is for Aisha because she has refused to make one for her in the past. Again, I'm going to condense the remaining days down into one segment. The following things happen from right now all the way up until they actually know. I'm not going to say what day it is. I'll have that be a surprise. I sell enough golden sunberries and golden sunberry wine to reach the coveted 10 million gold. I skedaddle over to the wizard and I buy the golden clock. I take another look at the perfection tracker. All that remains are the 1 cooking recipe and the 2 bottles of soju. I have checked the special orders board in Sunberry Village every single week during this last spring, but that order didn't show up, so I'm going to have to go into year 4. I have a feeling this is going to turn into a very long waiting game. Right. Okay, so the order did not show up during year 4, so I'm currently in year 5. And I've also made the realization that the order appears on the special orders board in Pelican Town, not the special orders board in Sunberry Village. I made a mistake there. Oops. It hasn't shown up during year 6, or year 7, or year 8. Finally, in spring of year 12, the special order has presented itself. I toss rice and cranberries into a keg, and just rice into another keg. I then make fairy dust and use it to finish the process immediately. I toss both bottles into the shipping bin, completing the entire shipping collection. All that remains now is the cooking recipe kerfuffle. I've downloaded a mod called Perfection Tweaker. It lets me adjust how many items are needed for perfection. It's also why there are so many numbers on the screen right now. Those values aren't correct. I need to change those to the correct values really quick. Everything else, like the number of items to be shipped and the number of friendships to max out, are all at the correct values. The one change I've made is I've set the cooked dishes requirement to be 89 instead of 90. And sure enough, 100% completion has been obtained. It's a shame that I'm not able to make that last dish, but at least there was a way around it. And so on day 1251, I hope I've done that math right and that's the correct day, the summit has opened up. I head up there where I say my final goodbye to Sunberry Village. This playthrough is over. I think I've made it clear how I feel about the Sunberry Village mod, so I'll keep this short. Oh, here's a picture of the farm while I'm talking. This mod is at the very tip top of my list of my favorite expansion mods, alongside the Stardew Valley expanded mod. I had such a good time learning about all of the new characters, catching the new fish, and the mines. The mines might just be my favorite part of this mod, though it's difficult to put any one thing at the number 1 spot. I also didn't realize how much I wanted to play through a fresh, new expansion mod until I started this journey. So thank you to everybody who made the Sunberry Village mod and the add-on mods for the other villagers. So that includes Ren, Ripley, Jongyuk and Spanner, Lani, Dao, and the Always Raining in the Valley mod. It was a pleasure to experience all of them. I will have every single mod I used down below in the description, and yeah, that's about it I think. Thank you all so very much for watching. Have a good one.